Good morning from the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. The UFC back in the Beehive State for the second year in a row. And what a card. Absolutely stacked. Littered with potential fight of the year candidates from start to finish. We have been talking about these matchups for months. Here's a live look at the weigh-in stage where all 24 fighters set to weigh in over the next 90 minutes or so. 10 are waiting to go, including the man you see on the right side of your picture, Dustin Gaethje, here and ready to weigh in. Welcome inside our studios at the Delta Center, everybody. Dean Thomas is here. Belal Muhammad is here, the number 3 ranked welterweight on the planet, and of course our champ Hall of Famer and current weigh-in show champion Daniel Cormier.
How come you didn't give me no love? You was just like Dean Thomas.
No, and I'm going to tell you, because I'm coming back to you. Let me tell you why. Okay. Because you're always sitting in the rotating yes chair. This is the permanent chair.
Wow.
You are in Laura's
my boy.
We're not messing around.
They probably gonna give my boy some real estate.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
They probably give him some real estate.
You think he's going to be able to plant his flag, or is he not going to be here on the next show?
Let me tell you something, man. It looked like it might happen, and then I looked down, and y'all all wearing white shoes. It's like, bro, could y'all just at least try to not all just fall in line? Like, are you guys a boy band? I'm literally gonna step on every one of y'all's shoes to make them dirty. Look at these shoes. What are y'all doing?
Let me tell you something about these shoes. Did Khabib ever buy you a pair of Hermes shoes?
These are expensive shoes. They're not like your Payless shoes that you got on right now. I don't know what you got, but these are from Habib. Your boy, you know him, right? Has he ever bought you anything? You know him for years.
I'd rather that Habib bought me Airdynes for my kids. I work for the youth. I'm not selfish.
Is that right?
Hey, guys, so here's the thing. When Habib said, I've got money for you, brother, I want to buy you something, I said, Habib, don't buy me Hermes shoes. Buy some Airdynes for the kids in my academy so that they can train. So yes, I will look to the future and I will be selfless and not take the expensive shoes.
Only Daniel Cormier can make our guests feel bad about themselves within the first 35 seconds of the show.
Hey, so be selfless, man.
Unbelievable.
Have some character.
Unbelievable.
You're a gift, bro. I don't want them.
Can we talk about this fight card, please?
Yes, please.
All right.
Let's get off Bilal's $10,000 shoes.
Let's take a look at what is coming up on UFC 291 in Salt Lake City. The early prelims and the prelims start 3:30 local time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN Plus and Fight Pass. ESPN going to be joining us in progress, by the way. Miranda Maverick, Priscilla Cachoeira in the curtain jerker. And then how about Contender Series alums CJ Vergara and Vinicius Salvador? That's the early prelims. The prelims, we have 4 fights. It's Aussie Jake Matthews opening up the prelims against a new opponent, Darius Flowers, making his debut on short notice. Derek Lewis looking to hold on to his top 10 ranking against the hard-charging Marcos Rogerio de Lima. Gabriel Bonfim trying to stay undefeated in the feature prelim against Trevin Giles. This main card is stupid. 7 p.m. local time, 10 p.m. Eastern. It's kicking off on pay-per-view. Our buddy Michael Chiesa back after almost 2 years away, taking on Kevin Big Mouth Holland. He's been on this show before. Critical matchup for both Tony Ferguson and Bobby Green. Looking forward to that one. Top 15 welterweights clashing in Wonder Boy and Michelle Pereira. And in the co-main event, a couple of former champs, Jan Blachowicz and Alex Pereira. Huge lightweight tilt that will likely determine who's next in line for a title shot. And then the BMF title is on the line between top three lightweights, Dustin Poirier and Dustin Gaethje. It is 8 p.m. local here. So that is prime time when things get started on the main card. Cannot wait to get it going. Let's bring in the voice of the UFC right now, John Anik, shall we? Who I know is always happy to be back here in Utah. Did a great job with the press conferences yesterday. And looking stellar as always right now. Oh, yeah, we sweating? What's going on?
I have done television for 18 years. This is the sweatiest I have ever been on camera. I'm completely saturated. It's 90 degrees in here. We're doing all right here at altitude, boys, but I am schwitzing.
Look at my man.
How does this compare to a Brazil fight night? And I can't remember if you did the San Diego card a couple of years ago because it was like 95 degrees in there.
Yeah, I mean, certainly we've done a lot of shows in Brazil over the years. I remember Brian Stan and I did a show in Fortaleza that was essentially on the equator, and I was soaked through before the first fight, but it is what it is, you know. You got to just deal with the settings, as you guys well know.
All right, let's walk through this main event. The BMF title on the line. Poirier, Gaethje. Gaethje says he wants to be a little more technical going into this one, which isn't exactly what I think about when I think about Justin Gaethje. What does that mean to you?
Well, I think if you look back at their first fight, April of 2018, that was sort of the jumping off point for Gaethje 2.0. Not that he's necessarily made wholesale changes since then, but it's selective engagement, it's selective chaos, and that was not always the case. Trevor Whitman has long said this was a guy that prioritized entertainment over undisputed world titles for a while. He flipped the switch shortly after that Poirier fight in 2018. I think a lot of the recent results for him speak to that. That physique performance out of him was a masterpiece, right? People have no idea just how good physique is, and Gaethje really fought well that night, so I think he's a live dog Saturday night. I'm very confident in his chances here coming up at UFC 291.
Gaethje and Poirier both set to weigh in. The weigh-in start here in just a couple of minutes. Co-main event, Alex Pereira makes the expected move to light heavyweight to take on Jan Blachowicz. What intrigues you most about this one, John?
Well, Jan Blachowicz is a man. He is 40, and I think that is a storyline here. Alex Pereira is no spring chicken either. He's 36, and anytime Pereira talks about title contention, he always injects his age into the equation. You know, seemingly he's not here for all that long, and I think that's why he's making the quick turn after a pretty devastating knockout in Miami. I don't worry too much about that quick turn as far as Pereira's chin is concerned. I think the question is, how does he look at 205 pounds against a bona fide former UFC light heavyweight champion? And until they get in the octagon together, I'm not sure that we're going to have those answers. But certainly, I believe, as one man, way too much was made about Pereira cutting down to 85 as if it was some massive struggle. I do expect he will return to 85 at some point in time, and I just think too much has been made of that angle, if I'm being honest.
All right, well, thank you for that. Both men set to weigh in just a matter of moments. So that's good news that they are both here and ready to roll. All right, Wonder Boy making the walk for the first time this year, and it really is a striker's delight against Michel Pereira. Were you able to glean any type of information from chatting with these two throughout the course of the week?
Well, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson had a one-year layoff going into that Kevin Holland fight, and he needed most of this recovery time because he took a lot of damage in that fight. So the weight cuts have become a little bit harder for Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, but he's done all the right work. I understand why he's the betting favorite here, but have you ever remembered a winning streak at 170 pounds like Michel Pereira has, 5 consecutive wins? No one's making anything of that, perhaps because a lot of those wins have come by decision. This could be his coming out party here on Saturday night, and we'll see how he approaches it from a strategy standpoint. But I do think Pereira has more ways to win. We'll see.
All right, thanks, buddy. Get that towel to work, man. You got a busy day ahead of you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, John Anik. DC, let's talk a little about this main event, because these guys are obviously very similar, right? Like there's nobody they're going to back down from. The fight is in a phone booth generally. Yes. They're both 6-2 since their last meeting, with both of those losses coming in title fights. I don't know. How do you even break this one down? How do you handicap it?
It's a good fight, and you know it's a fight that you always want to see because you know these guys deliver. You have two of the most exciting guys in the world fighting for the BMF championship. And now to me, the BMF championship isn't a prop anymore because you have championship level guys fighting for the belt. These guys are world-class fighters. Both guys have fought for the UFC championship. Both guys have held the interim championship. It's elevated. This is a great fight. And, guys, I got to be honest, man. Somebody's talking in my ear. I have no idea who it is. This is a random voice. Somebody said it's Cody. I don't know who Cody is.
Cody, you know, maybe Cody's stepping on.
I got to know my dog Cody like that.
Crazy, man. Who's Cody?
I know my dog.
Who's Cody below?
I don't know Cody.
Oh, man.
Hey, I know Cody. Cody's great.
He is.
Cody's great.
But I do know both these guys in the main event, and they both leveled up since the first fight. I think Justin has made bigger changes, right? He's been more patient. It's like Justin 2.0. You're seeing his footwork a lot better now. You're seeing him set up stuff a lot better now. Dustin, he's always gonna have that dog in him. He's always gonna be that monster, right? You know, I think Dustin is more comfortable in the fire, but Justin loves that fire. He loves the burn, right?
But he should have grown more, right? Like when they first met, it was just Justin's third UFC fight, right? Dustin had been around for a while.
Yeah, oh, for sure. But what I like most about these guys is they are in a position where now they are fighting without any stress, like, because they don't have to fight. Like their lives are set, so they're here because they want to be here, and they want to attack each other, and they want to go at it. So that's what makes this fight. That's what makes this fight exciting for me.
Justin Gaethje set to weigh in here as we get things underway in just a moment. And for Gaethje, like, he's talked about this, wanting to be more technical, aiming for patience and perfection as opposed to violence. Is that realistic for a guy like Gaethje? We've seen him get a little more patient, not maybe riding the momentum or the moment as he has maybe early in his career, but it's always about violence with Justin Gaethje.
I mean, I think he's a guy that sees red, right? When he's in the cage, I don't think he thinks about game planning. People are like, oh, use your wrestling. But that's not Justin. Justin loves to be in that fire. He loves to hurt you. And I talked to him after the Oliveira fight, and he said, I put a lot more muscle on, I put a lot more weight on because he was always being so light. So we saw that in the Fiziev fight when, let's see what he was in.
He got takedowns in the third period of that fight, too. That was...
Just one.
But still, that's when he needed it.
Exactly, yeah.
Right, he went and got it done. This guy, man...
156, the official weight for Justin Gaethje.
I mean, he's the best. Like, honestly, you spend time with Justin Gaethje, he's the best. He's a phenomenal fighter, but he's as good of a guy as he is as a fighter, right? 11 bonuses and 11 appearances. This dude's fun, and, I mean, he looks like he's hurting a little bit. Face is slim, and he weighs 156 for a title fight.
Next fighter to the scale also
he weighed about as much as I did in Buffalo.
You don't need title, you don't have to weigh 155 for it.
You don't need a title either.
Dustin Poirier.
Dustin Poirier, I mean, I can't say enough about this young man. I mean, I've watched him come up. I spent a lot of time in the gym with him, and he has just come and grown into his very own. And when you talk about the accuracy and the killer instinct, I don't know if there's a person in the UFC who, when they see a man hurt, can finish the way he does.
He's in shape,
The
man.
way he finishes, he sees a man hurt, and he's so accurate. That punch that he hit with Conor McGregor, that last punch in Abu Dhabi,
was nasty.
that was as square of a punch I've ever seen on a face. See what his weight is.
155, the official weight for
muscular.
Dustin
He looks in
Poirier.
shape.
He
He's
looks
big,
muscular right
and he's
there.
big at
Look at him.
155. He's lean.
UFC
He's in shape.
main event
An official
is
championship
official.
weight, too.
Hey, Dean, and honestly, you say his timing is crazy because he's not overly fast. It's not like he's fast.
No,
he's just very.
He's not fast at all.
He's got great timing, and everything's like thudding.
And
you
it
can
just-
hear boom.
All right,
He's
next
looking
athlete
right
to
at the
scale,
target,
competing in
too.
the prelim in the
He
UFC's
never loses
welterweight
sight.
division, Matthew Semmelsberger.
Matthew Semmelsberger. Now listen, this guy has kind of been up and down. You talk to him, and his idea is to go out and finish fights. Now, he's been up and down, but he's shown incredible durability, insanely tough, and believes that in this fight, not only can he get the job done, but feels like he can really dominate. And he feels like right now...
169.5, the official weight for Matthew Semmelsberger.
169.5 for Semmelsberger. He feels like you're finally going to see the evolution of his game come together, and he believes that if he does that, he can be one of the best in the world.
All right, next fighter to weigh in this morning, competing in the UFC women's flyweight division, Miranda Maverick.
I'm Miranda Maverick, and I'm fighting out of Denver, Colorado. I know Michael Chiesa is on the card, but I'm the real Maverick.
Miranda Maverick is the Maverick, obviously, like she just said. But here's the deal. In her last fight against Jasmine, she did not look great.
125.5.
125.5. She believed that she was going to run through Jasdavicius. She was not able to fight, and she didn't fight well. So it's really big for Miranda Maverick, because now she's gone the spectrum of being the person we thought was can't miss to now losing a fight like that. This is a big spot for her.
And she's opening up the card against Priscilla Cachoeira. Looking forward to that. Here is CJ Vergara, Season 5 Contender Series alum, coming off a second-round TKO win over Daniel Lacerda back in March.
125.5, the official weight for CJ Vergara.
125.5. Said he upped his cardio a lot during camp. Been doing a lot of hill training in San Antonio. Easy to do there because they have a
All right, next
a
fighter
bunch
to
of
the
hills.
scale, competing in a prelim live on ABC in the middleweight division, Claudio Ribeiro.
Here come my man, the self-proclaimed fun guy. He started off dancing, and he believes that helped him become a better fighter faster. And I believe it, too, because, like, if you can put your body in positions from dancing, you can do it with fighting. But he was on Dana White's Contender Series. He knocked this man out in 25 seconds. He hit that dude with a left hook. I thought that dude got shot in the face. Came out, stopped Ugly Man Joe, and I'm not dogging Ugly Man Joe. That's his nickname. But this guy takes pride in his power. 11 finishes, 11 knockouts. 100% finishing rate with a knockout.
His energy is so good, too.
Yeah.
I've seen him at the hotel a couple times.
185.5, the official
I saw
number
him
for
too,
Claudio
but then-
Ribeiro.
You talking a lot, like you sitting like in Laura's seat. Now you acting like Laura. The most you ever had in terms of like you've gone off like Laura Senko right
because,
now.
man, they like the Laura Senko.
What is happening?
I'm possessed by Laura Senko right now.
The pay-per-view main card in the welterweight
spirit
division,
is in that
Kevin
seat.
Trailblazer Holland.
Oh, here's Big Mouth.
Big Mouth, the Trailblazer, a guy that fights at 170 will fight you at 185. He's one of those guys that when you talk about BMF, fight you anywhere every time, that's Kevin Holland. But Kevin Holland is a tremendous athlete. I played basketball with Kevin Holland in Vegas and was very surprised at his athleticism. Now, in his last fight against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, he did not fight his best, most smart fight. He believes that this time he will take the right approach to get a victory over Michael Chiesa.
I saw y'all out there hooping.
Yeah, you know, I did my thing.
I saw you out there.
I scored 18, I
No.
think. on the wall.
I
He
saw
brought
you out there.
7'5" cousin.
I know.
Randomly out of nowhere.
It's taken long.
This is taking a minute. He said the weight cut was no problem when we saw him in the hotel.
Well, I don't know, the official's doing something wrong because the scale's not moving down. There it is. Now it's starting to come down a little bit. He's talking. Kevin's talking, so.
169.5, the official weight for
169.5
Kevin Holland.
Kevin
He
Holland.
said no problemo.
That's not that bad. You know what's crazy is like when he was at 85, he was always slim.
All right, next
He doesn't
fighter
look
to
that
the
skinny.
scale.
No, he
Getting down to
doesn't.
70, doesn't
No.
change
In the
much.
lightweight division, the King is in the building. Bobby King Reed.
Daniel Cormier, Dean, you guys are my guys. Bilal, go do your thing out there, brother. My question for you guys is, who has a style like me and Tony? Who else is gonna fight like me and Tony? Do you got any predictions on how this fight's gonna go?
I don't think there's anybody that fights like Bobby Green. I think Bobby Green, hands down, talking trash in your
155.5,
face.
the
His
official weight
boxing, there's
for
nobody
Bobby
like him.
King Green.
OG Tony, there was nobody like him, right? I don't know. This older Tony now, I think Bobby Green's gonna light him up a little bit on the feet. So it's gonna be a tough night for Tony Ferguson right here.
Tony gonna be mad at you.
Bro, I know you are going to
I'm
get
trying to be the new sunglass guy, though, right? I'm trying to take his spot.
Three-rank contender.
Put his analyst hat on. He's not
Blachowicz.
afraid to, speak his mind.
Here's the former champion, Jan Blachowicz. Look, big spot for Jan. Last title fight was a draw against Ankalaev. Spoke to him the other day at the fighter meeting, and he said, man, I'm 40 now. He goes, I've got one more run at this championship. I'm still fighting at the top of the sport. I feel
205, the official weight
205
for
for the former champion.
Blachowicz.
He believes that he has the ability to go chase down that championship once again and feels like he wants to test himself in the striking
All right,
against
next
Alex
athlete to
Pereira.
the stage,
That's
one
championship
half of
weight,
the
and there's no
featured
belt on.
prelim live on
I'm
ABC,
champion
the
right now,
UFC's
so
welterweight
Yeah,
division,
that's fine.
Trevin Giles.
I'm most curious to see how long he's willing to do the stand-up.
If he takes him down, though, he's heavy on top.
I know.
We've seen
I
it,
could-
right?
Yeah.
We've seen it with Izzy. Here's Trevin Giles, 30-year-old Texas native coming in off back-to-back wins. Most recently, that split decision win over Preston Parsons back in March. Was a Houston police officer, but he retired from the police force. A plus 270 dog to Gabriel Bonfim, one of the bigger dogs on the card. So he has his work cut out for him.
170 pounds, the official weight for Trevin Giles.
There is the salute for the former Houston police officer.
This is a kid that seems to have a lot of ability, great athleticism. Between the ears, I think, is where he struggles
All
a
right,
little
next
bit.
up in the UFC
He said he got the best jab in the welterweight division, but
We're gonna find out with Bonfim. Hey,
He was at middleweight for a while.
Yeah.
He's coming out to the wrong division now.
Bonfim got that jab, boy. Watch. Just watch.
And Priscilla Cash-Wada on the scale now, the 34-year-old looking for her third straight win.
125 for Priscilla Cash-Wada.
I saw her cutting weight a couple days ago. She looked really good in the room. She didn't look sucked out or anything.
Well, this is good
All right,
for her.
next fighter
She
to
has
the
had
scale,
weight cut issues, missed a
competing live
couple of
on
times in the last
the
2
former
years.
Ultimate Fighter live
most
winner and
recently
the
by
number
4
12 ranked
pounds
UFC
back in
welterweight
April, so that was
contender
huge.
Michael Maverick Chiesa.
Dustin Poirier, by the way, as Michael Chiesa steps to the stage, going to join us here in just a couple of minutes. And here is Michael Chiesa, who, of course, has done his fair share of broadcasting work with the UFC, back in the octagon for the first time in almost 20 months.
170 for Michael Chiesa.
Was supposed to fight in Miami against the Leech, but Li Jinliang had to pull out with an injury, and had a training camp in the mountains of Las Vegas, the Mount Charleston.
Next fighter to weigh in this morning, competing in a prelim
perfect.
in the UFC's middleweight division, Roman Kopylov.
Kopylov, I was on the flight with him from Chicago. The guy's a nice guy. Doesn't speak any English, but he has always had a smile on his face the whole time. He beat my boy Puna Soriano the last time out, and he looked very good that fight. He's usually a guy that likes to get hit, to give a hit, but that last fight he was a lot more calculated.
185
You know, like the
for
Russian
Roman
Chase
Kopylov.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly like that,
That's
right?
hilarious. He really does.
Don't he? Look at him. Look at him.
That's a good one.
And I rode on the bus with him back
All right, next
from the
athlete to
airport,
the stage,
and he only had
the
one
other
book
half of
bag
that
with him. It's like,
featured
that's all you
prelim
bring
in the
fight week?
welterweight
It was
division,
hilarious.
Gabriel Bonfim.
Now, we normally see this guy. He's normally with his brother. They are inseparable. His brother's nickname is Maheta, meaning the sledgehammer. His is Mahechinya, meaning little sledgehammer. They live together, train together. And this is one of the first fights he's had where his brother was not scheduled to fight on the card. Now, make no mistake about it. He says he's going to try
170,
to
the official
see if
weight
he can
for
jab with
Gabriel
Trevin
Bonfim.
Giles, but he's a submission specialist. Let's make no mistake about that. 11 finishes in 14 wins.
And him and his brother both had the same type of hype coming in, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I hope he doesn't have that same attitude as his brother last fight, where
competing in the
you blow out.
welterweight division, the Celtic Kid, Jake Matthews.
Hey guys, I'm Jake Matthews, fighting out of Melbourne, Australia. My goal tonight is to dictate wherever the fight goes and finish the fight however I want.
There he is. First fight of the year for the Celtic Kid, former Aussie Rules football player.
170 on the nose for Jake Matthews.
Getting a short notice opponent in Darius Flowers, who's making his UFC debut tomorrow night. Going to be his 11th
All right, next fighter
fight
to
at
the
welterweight
stage is
after
the
going
former
4-3
undisputed
at
UFC middleweight champion, moving up to light heavyweight in the co-main event here on Saturday night, Poatan Alex Pereira.
Oh, man, this is going to be fun to watch him in this weight class.
Alex Pereira is a guy that's going up to 205, and he does believe that he can be the champion. But like John said earlier, he can still make 85. And when you look at him, he's so big. Even at 205, he goes, man, I'm still cutting weight. He goes, I haven't changed much. I'm just staying where I normally am.
205 and a half, the official weight for Alex Pereira.
205 and a half for Pereira, but like I'm excited to see how he manages this extra weight, because for so long we always expect someone to just go take him down. How much will he struggle if he gets taken down by Blachowicz with 20 pounds extra on his frame?
I mean, think about it. We don't know a lot about Alex Pereira. He doesn't have a lot of samples
Isn't
for
it
us to
crazy?
pick from. Yeah.
He's a champion, and
He's
we
a
still don't
champ.
know who he is.
Right.
We've seen 5-6 fights.
That's it.
Here's Darius Flowers making his UFC debut, Bilal.
This is my boy back from Chicago. Took this fight on short notice, but he's quick with it. He's had short notice fights all the time. He's a guy that will fight 1 week and then fight 2 weeks later.
170
He's that
and a
type of guy,
half,
and that's
the
how he got
official weight
signed in
for
the UFC.
Darius
And he was on the
Flowers.
Contender Series with a slam knockout.
He told me that he's always in the gym, so he's not worried about anything. He said he just lives in the gym, so he's ready.
Bro, we were walking around this week. He's eating pancakes and stuff. I'm like, bro, you're gonna cut weight? He's like, no, I'm good, man. I'm already on weight right now. And it was like Tuesday.
He looks small. He does look small for 70, though.
But he got power for middleweight.
He
though.
hits hard?
He hits hard. He got that like rocks in his hands.
All right, so obviously the BMF title on the line, and it's a rematch between Poirier and Gaethje. You've been involved in these before. What are some of the positives for somebody going into a fight in which they are facing their opponent for a second time?
You know, I think it's on both guys, obviously, but the guy that lost, right? Because he has the blueprint of what he can't do. You know what you have to change in order to try to get the victory. And the motivation going into a rematch is crazy. Especially as the guy, I've been in rematches before in my life. So many. But winning and then going into the rematch is different than losing. Because when you lose, you are doing so much more because you want to get it back. So Justin Gaethje, I can imagine, has done more work to prepare himself. Mentally, though, he's got to kind of forget about the last fight. Because if you keep the memory of the first fight, you may find yourself in the same type of situation in the rematch.
Yeah, I mean, when I fought Luque, I fought him twice. Obviously, the first one was the same way, where I got knocked out. The second fight was mentally, I was like, man, is it gonna happen again? Am I gonna get knocked out again? Was it a lucky punch? And I worked more than I've ever worked in my whole life. And it didn't even hit me until probably the second round with Luque, where I was like, all right, I'm good. I'm comfortable here. So I think Gaethje's mindset's gonna be the same way, where it's like, be patient the first round, let me change from what we did the first fight. And then once I get to the second, third, fourth round, I think that's going to be like, all right, it's different. I'm a different guy now.
I know for me, you know, in the beginning of any fight, like there's always that feeling out process. But in the rematch, the feeling out process is already done because it's from the first fight. And I remember when I fought, I'm going to take y'all back in a little history here. Kyle Uno, I think it was UFC 39.
Wow.
I fought him. That was the second time I fought him. And there was no feeling out process for me because I was like, we picking up where we left off last time.
Yes.
He still beat me, but
that boy D crazy, man. That boy D.
Yeah, he still beat me. But I mean, but all I'm saying is that I ain't have to feel him out the second time.
That boy D crazy, man. That's
Guys, we have Dustin
man.
Poirier waiting in the wings, nice enough to chat with us here after he has weighed in. Dustin, you there?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
So you can hear everything these guys are talking about, and it's almost counter to what you've said. You know, you watched the fight, but that was it, right? That was 5 years ago. You don't believe that fight will have any impact on this fight?
No, I think we're both different fighters. But before we get into that, our boy Gleason Tebow got him back for you, Dean.
Yeah, thank you, yeah. He got him, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're both different fighters. It's 5 years. You know, I don't want to keep saying it over and over again, but it's true. If we haven't grown and changed and learned in 5 years, what have we been doing?
Right. No, which I think is a great point, right? That's a long time, half a decade. Where do you see that Gaethje has grown the most?
He's being more defensive, moving his feet laterally, throwing more jabs, you know, trying to set up the power shots instead of just – but we're seeing glimpses of that. He's still a wild man.
Dustin, yesterday you guys had the press conference. You slapped in his face. We always take something from the press conference. What did you take from Justin Gaethje when you guys went face-to-face yesterday?
DC, I didn't take anything. I gave him a discount code from my hot sauce website so he could get 20% off. And Hedonist.
Hey, bro, this
because
boy
I want him he needs to get the best deal, so I gave him 20% off. Now, we'll see.
This boy, Dustin Poirier, know how to peddle something, man. I'm telling you.
Sure
he
do.
like he run infomercials.
Yeah.
He grew up on those infomercial channels in Lafayette. That's the problem.
Hey, callers are calling in now. You see the number on the screen. These bottles are going quick.
Dustin, the leg kicks, right? He had a lot of success with the leg kicks in the last fight, but ultimately that's what led to his demise, right? Throwing blind leg kicks. How have you guys prepared for that? I know you're using Thiago Alves, who was one of the best kickers in the game for a long time. What have you done specifically to prepare for that part of Justin's game?
Exactly that. Worked with Thiago a lot, man. For 9 weeks, I've been checking kicks, countering kicks, working takedowns off of kicks, working that same left hand that hurt him off of that kick. Bro, like, probably 6 or 7 of the weeks of training camp, my knee was bruised, like a bone bruise. My knee's been hurting checking so many kicks. So I think I'm ready for that.
Dustin, Bilal here. Obviously, when people talk about Utah, they talk about the high altitude. For this camp, did you do anything crazy or different for the high altitude training?
You know, like, I don't know the stats, but so many of my last fights have been 5-round fights. So I just did that. Prepare for a 5-round fight. The only thing I added is a altitude tent from Higher Peak. They send me a tent that wraps around my bed, and I slept at 5,000 feet for the last 2 weeks of camp. Then I came here Friday, and I'm actually staying like 1,100 feet above Salt Lake where we'll be fighting. I'm in the mountain. So I think I'm good, man. I did some workouts here. I ran 5 miles on Sunday. Honestly, I only feel like a difference like the first few minutes, the first scramble of a wrestling, session, and then my body feels normal.
You know, this is for the BMF bout, but when they talk about the most violent fighters in history of the UFC, you've beaten all those guys, right? You've beaten Eddie Alvarez, you've beaten Michael Chandler, you've beaten Justin Gaethje. Is that title bigger to you than the BMF bout?
It's kind of the same thing, I guess, it's the same thing.
Dustin, I talked to Alan Jouban, and he talked about how in the middle of the most chaotic fight, you have this sense of awareness, and you're so aware of everything that's going on around you, or your body, and so many things. And I think that contributes to your finishes. Now, is that level of awareness something that you recognize that you needed to develop, or does that just come natural to you?
That's one of those things. I don't know if you can ever get comfortable there unless you have that like just in you. That's where I do my best work. I'm willing to suffer more than these guys. Things kind of slow down, and of course I'm human. Bad stuff could happen, but I feel good in there when those fights get like that. I know I can make these guys. If I'm hurting, they're in more pain than me. If I'm suffering, they're suffering more because in a weird way, I enjoy that. But speaking of Alan Jobe, I want to thank him and his family for sweating in that warehouse, packing backpacks for the Good Fight Foundation while I was in training camp. They donated their time, and I really appreciate it, man. He's a good dude.
Nice to have Joe Ban back in Lafayette, huh?
Yeah, man.
You're only missing me.
We roll every Friday, man. He's big into jiu-jitsu now. We don't really do a whole lot of MMA, but we roll every Friday.
You're only missing me, the king, you know what I'm saying? The king of Lafayette. The king need to come home, man.
We'll have to stop at Popeyes and pull you out of there, man.
Oh, you know him well. You know him well. Dustin Poirier, good luck tomorrow night. Thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. And DC, you know they shut down the Popeyes buffet.
They did not shut down. They did not shut down the last buffet in America.
They shut down the last buffet in America.
That's a crime. DP, we should go pick it. I'll be in Lafayette soon. We'll stand out there. We'll bring KATC. We'll bring TV10 out there with us, man.
I'll bring the BMF belt.
My brother.
Let's go.
Good luck, DP.
Thank you, bro.
You're the man.
Well, I didn't need to tell DP the reason you were wearing the weigh-in show belt was because we had an eating contest and you won. So I thought it would be appropriate, but I wanted to wait until he was off mic.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just disrespectful.
Well,
that's why your son said he can't wait till he's 18 to beat you.
He did say that. I was there when he said that, yo.
No. All right. My son's sitting off stage here. He's like, no, Dad, I didn't do that. I didn't say that, Dad. Okay, we talked about rematches, right? The positives when you're facing somebody again. What about the negatives when you're facing somebody for a second time?
Well, I mean, in a situation like this, like who would want to fight either of these guys again? I mean, you know what you're getting into. You know this is going to be a car crash. You know the dangers of going into a situation like this. For me, I'm just looking at this like, man, like he was so tough the first time. There were certain things I probably still couldn't figure out. I'm just going in there and just, you know, I'm going to give it my all, obviously, but just knowing, like going up against like Justin Gaethje, like just knowing what that guy brings to the table, like
hard moments.
like you can't be looking forward to that. Like it's just going to take a special type of mentality to go into this fight for both of these guys.
Yeah, and for me it was like if I lose to the same guy twice, then I'm just never going to make it, right? Because if I can't beat Luque twice, then there's no way I'm going to be a champion because he's always going to be ahead of me. And even if he loses at the top, he's still always going to be ahead of me because I lost to that same guy twice. And for me, mentally, I had to get over that hurdle in my head telling myself, he's not better than me. He's not better than me. I'll write it in my book. He's not better than me. It's not going to happen again. And just my mentality, the whole fight camp was so much stress. And then fight week, you're seeing the replays of him getting his hand raised and you with your head down. And that was like the hardest part.
So you said the second round was when you were able to say, okay, I got this after being knocked out in the first fight. That's something I'm always interested in when you have these rematches. If the first one ended in a knockout, how long that takes. Was that longer than you expected, or was that quicker than you expected when you were in the moment?
In the moment, it was, once I got to the corner, that's when I had that sense of relief, like, all right, we're good. It's not going to happen again because everybody's commenting, you know, Twitter world, oh, he's going to knock you out again. He's going to knock you out again. And then you start, man, is he going to knock me out again? Maybe my chin is weak. Maybe he's just my kryptonite. And once I got to that second round, I was like, all right, I'm here now. He's not that much better than me. I got this. Let's do this. And, you know, when you have your team around you, your coaches around you that are giving you the right game plan and the right ideas, that's when it just became a normal fight to me.
You know, when you beat someone and you have to fight them again, you got to remember, like, the hard times to still help you prepare. When you lose, it's easy to get motivated. But there are certain guys that you fight that you know it's going to be tough every time. So even though I had fought Anthony Johnson once, he knocked me down. I knew how hard he hit. I knew that it could end at any moment. So the second time, you're very aware. Even Stipe Miocic, it was like, I beat him, but every time he hit me, it hurt, right? So you got to, like, settle your mind to make sure that you're prepared to go through the hard again, but then make sure that you always come out on top. It's a very tough situation. And then there were just guys that you didn't want to fight. Like, I didn't want to fight Jan Blachowicz once. I didn't want to fight Jan Blachowicz in a rematch. It's like you just know that fighting these guys are going to be very, very difficult. So it's like certain guys in the weight, you know it's going to be hard. So to fight them multiple times is very difficult.
Guess who's with us now?
Who? Oh,
Jan
what'd you say?
Blachowicz.
Oh, my goodness.
Do you believe it?
Are you serious?
He is with us now. Jan, thanks so much for joining us. He does this every time. Every time we have a guest, he just kind of kisses up to him a little bit. I'm surprised he didn't tell you how great he thought your cowboy hat was, which it was awesome, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It was very good. I agree with you.
You've really kind of soaked up Salt Lake City this week. For anybody that's been watching Embedded, you went to a rodeo, you went to a store and got your boots and your cowboy hat. What's this week been like for you?
You know, I'm more than 2 weeks here, so I have to, feel this place, enjoy it, used to the climate, to how people live. I want to see that. I want to feel. And I did it, so that's why I was in rodeo first time in my life. It was amazing, for sure not last time. So local people give me this cowboy hat, so I have to wear it and go to the ceremony for the press conference with it.
Well, you look like you fit right in here in Utah, Jan. I have to ask you about this fight. You have fought so many high-level middleweights who have moved up to fight, and Jacare and Rockhold and Izzy. Alex Pereira is different probably than all of them. Is the game plan going to be similar for him as it was for them in the past?
I believe that's going to be same. He's going to lose. Everybody is different. No, it's also different kind of fighter, so I have to be ready for him, and I am ready for him. But I try to do like with all of them and send him back to his category.
Jan, you have losses to Sokaju, Jimmy Manoa, and Corey Anderson. You fought them again and beat them in rematches. Would a win over Alex Pereira be like revenge for your loss to Glover Teixeira?
Yes, little bit. I treat this like personally because Glover is on retirement. He don't fight anymore. So this is for me personal rematch against him because they are friends. They train together. So yes, it's another motivation for me to beat him and take my rematch.
Now you listed The Witcher.
And I never lose the rematch in my life.
I love that. But you listed The Witcher as one of your heroes. It's a fantasy book character. Why is that one of your heroes?
You have to read the book and you will understand. He is just the greatest fighter. In the USA you've got a lot of heroes, Superman, Spider-Man. We've got Witcher and he is the greatest.
Jan, those low kicks that you hit on Ankalaev your last fight, you're going to shin with the guy. I know it hurt. Like, is it just a mental thing for you, or do you really have that Polish bones that are thicker than everybody else's?
I feel the pain, but I accept it, I accept the pain, and that's it, But I feel the pain, but I know that my opponent feel much better, much more, this pain. That's why I hear it always. And I don't care, okay? Pain is a pain. It's, whole life you feel some pain. So you need to accept it and enjoy it.
I also met your mental coach the last fight, and she was really good, really nice person. And I know how you said that she helped you a lot. How the last fight went, it was a draw. Did you have to get over like mental hurdles? Because it kind of like, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. You didn't get a result. Win or lose, you want to have a finality, right? So did you have to do anything or get over a mental hurdle like, man, nothing happened in that fight. I could have did this from the beginning or afterward?
No, not really. She fixed me very well before Rakic fight. I need her in this fight. Now everything is good. Okay, draft is a draft. I forget about this. I've got new experience, but now it's a new chapter for me, new story, and that's it. I can always call to her if we're gonna have some problem, but right now my mental is very good.
Jan, it's been a while since you've been in the octagon. Was Alex Pereira the guy that you wanted to return to? And did the fight have to have high stakes? Because it seems like this is a #1 contenders fight.
Yeah, I want him. When I hear that he go to 205, I talk with my manager and say to her, okay, send message to UFC, I want Pereira, because I want something new. I want something different. New blood in the division, very good kickboxer, very, very tough guy, and this kind of fighters, they motivate me to go there and do what I love to do.
Jan, you are 40 now. You said that you got another run at the championship, but Yuri gave up the belt because he got hurt. Jamal gave up the belt because he got hurt. Do you really want the belt, Jan? Because it seems to be a little snake bit, man. You're a 40-year-old man. Do you really want to run the risk of carrying that thing?
someone have to take this belt, you know, if they cannot hold it because they have injuries. So I will take it back and gonna have it, you know.
Oh, man.
All right, Jan Blachowicz, thanks for joining us, man. Looking forward to seeing you fight
Thank you.
tomorrow night. That is
Thank you, appreciate that.
Jan Blachowicz having fun with DC as always as we head back to the weigh-ins. Uros Medic, the doctor, stepping to the scale below.
First time coming up to 170. He was a lightweight. DC didn't know that, so I had to remind him. But this guy is big. He said he
170 and a half, the official weight.
I saw him at the hotel, and he
Medic.
said he's going to stay at 170 from now on. He said the weight cuts to 155 were way too hard. So he said he's in shape. He said he's been ready, been training. I'm excited for his hands are fast. I think he's definitely going to have the speed advantage and, honestly, size advantage.
All right, he's one of the best fighters from Serbia. We have, what, over 70 countries represented in the UFC. Talking about best fighters from a region or a country. Obviously, if we start with Poland, which is where I'd like to start, Jan Blachowicz is atop that list, I would imagine. Best Polish fighter in MMA history.
In MMA history, you know, I'm going to have to go with my girl, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. She's a monster. She was my favorite fighter coming up. Her striking, the wars she was in, the mentality she had, the boogie woman. Anytime I see her, she's so happy. So seeing her at the top, I got to put her there. Even though Jan's on this card, I got to put.
I mean, we have so many cards this time. It's like, how many lists? Bro, I'm like, oh, okay,
Best Polish fighter in MMA
Hey, so here's mine.
easy
Can I
answer.
tell you mine?
Go.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk. You know why? Because she is the reason this division is so strong, and she is one of the best personalities in all of MMA. I remember one time we had her on the show, and we asked her to spell her name. She couldn't even spell it in English. It was one of the funniest things I'd ever seen in my life, bro. Her trying to spell her name in English and could fight, it was amazing. She's an amazing woman. Love her. I love her.
Hey, listen, it's a consensus. Joanna is the best Polish fighter of all time. She was one of the originals and made it cool for females to just be like, you know what? I'm here. And I can be, and it's like, she didn't care about like trying to look flashy or anything. She was just out there to hurt people.
Yeah.
And she made it cool. And when she was at the top of her run, everybody was afraid of her.
Her and Rose, their stare down was the craziest
Oh, my
stare down
God.
of all time. I love that one, yeah. I love that one.
This one might be a little tougher. Best Brazilian fighter of all time. Let's start with Bilal again.
Man, this one was hard, right? Because I love Jose Aldo and I love Anderson Silva. Both of them guys were neck and neck. But if I have to pick one, I'm going to go with Anderson Silva. The stuff that he did, there was nobody like him. There was not a fighter that could move like him. His knockouts, his highlight reel. I know DC beat him because DC was a lot bigger than him, but
No.
I got to go with my dude Anderson Silva here.
I beat him because I could wrestle. it was literally kind of like that. But for me, honestly, Bilal, great fighter, but Jose Aldo. I say Jose Aldo also because I've been as I've told you guys on a number of occasions, anytime anybody has anything attached to their name negatively, they go out of the greatest of all time rankings for me. So I'm going Jose Aldo. Clean sheet with an unbelievable championship record and resume.
You know, I had one, but I'm changing it, and I'm going Amanda Nunes.
Oh, my God.
Amanda Nunes. See, look at y'all. Look at
No,
y'all.
I forgot. I was
Amanda
gonna do
Nunes.
Amanda.
Amanda Nunes, champ in 2 different weight divisions, retired on her own terms, never had any dirt on her. Amanda Nunes, greatest Brazilian fighter of all time.
You're smart.
They're at the
that
same
chair's
gym,
working
too.
out for you.
It
They're at the
is.
same
Laura,
gym.
thank you for the chair. This is the spirit of Laura Sanko is in me.
This is going to be a meme, man.
That's good. It is good. I hope somebody turns that into a meme quickly. It'll take like 15 seconds. All right, best American fighter of all time, Bilal.
You got to go with Johnny Bones Jones. I'm sorry, DC, but, you know, Johnny Bones Jones, a lot of people call him the GOAT in general. The stuff that he does, the stuff that he's still doing, I don't know how you can't put him at the top. But I do love DC, though. I do love DC.
You could love me. Just because you love me don't mean that you don't put me at my rightful place. I'm the greatest American fighter of all time, man. I did it the right way. I won 2 championship belts. I carried the belt simultaneously. Yeah, the greatest American fighter of all time was born in Lafayette, Louisiana, and resides in Gilroy, California. And his name is Daniel Cormier.
Wow.
Wow.
He's going clean sheet, too.
He was, wow. Well, I mean, I will.
Hey, no pressure. No pressure, by the way. But if you don't pick DC, he's coming across the stage.
I'm going with DJ.
Oh, I forgot about
Demetrius
DJ.
Johnson.
Yes, it's DJ.
Demetrius Johnson.
It's DJ.
Demetrius Johnson is the greatest. Yeah, Demetrius Johnson. I mean, he did his thing, man.
Yeah, but he fights in Asia now, so I kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of easy to forget about.
He was like, I was kind of.
Well, that's the reason why he's in Asia now. He's easy to forget about. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's bring in an American mixed martial artist in Dustin Gaethje.
Ask him. Justin will tell you.
Hey, Justin, you've been a part of this show before. Who do you think is the best American mixed martial artist of all time?
I'm sitting right here.
Ooh.
I'm sitting right here. He knows that.
My favorite to watch was Chuck Liddell.
Oh my God, he's
Chuck Liddell.
But he's not the greatest. But he's not the greatest of all time. I'll say DJ.
He's plumb dumb. He's plumb dumb.
DJ, John Jones, DC. Hey, he was my favorite to watch.
All right. Well,
but I'm going to Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then John Jones, and then DC.
That's my boy right there.
That's good. I like that list, Gaethje. You know how to play this game. You've been a part of this show before. You've talked about being more technical coming into your second fight with Dustin Poirier. How much is patience a part of that for you?
This guy's going to be moving forward a lot. So I gotta, pick my shots, create my angles. But, I don't think patience is going to be something that I'm going to be able to do in there with this guy. He pushes forward. He's always throwing freaking hard shots. He punches like a truck. And I'm going to have to fight my fight. So, just find my angles, find my shots, get the win.
My brother, you have made the weight once again. You're on the eve of a rematch against a guy that has a victory over you, but your confidence is really glaring going into this rematch. What gives you this level of confidence going back into it? Is it the effects or the success that you had in the first fight?
I think it's when I fight my fight, I'm able to, Fiziev, Ferguson, Chandler, those were perfect fights. And when I fight those fights, I feel so good. I feel like it's a little bit slower than normal, but, I come out successful. And, those are enjoyable.
Justin, going back to that Tony Ferguson fight, I think, honestly, that was probably the perfect fight for anybody, one of the best performances I've ever seen. Do you ever go back fight week and rewatch that fight to try to get that same Justin back? Do you ever go back and like, oh, what did I do that same time? Let me write the notes from that one.
I mean, just being in there, I remember, how those specifically those three fights felt. It felt slower, and I felt more methodical. I felt like I was able to be patient, and again, I found success.
Justin, I know you thirsty, man, but I gotta know, who got more of a trash golf game, DC or Dan Ellie?
DC. I love that dude. He wants all the mulligans, all the strokes. But hey, he's the funnest to golf with. There's no doubt about it.
That's my boy right there.
So initially, it didn't seem like you were sold on the idea of the BMF belt. It seemed like since then your attitude has changed about the BMF belt. What changed your attitude about that?
I guess just thinking about it. It's an iconic belt. It's something that very few people, only 2 people in the history of the sport have even had a chance to go after. So to get the call and, I guess the recognition that comes with it is everything.
All right, Justin Gaethje, thank you very much. Always appreciate the time. Get some hydration in you, and can't wait to see you fight tomorrow night, my friend.
Oh, yeah. I'll feel great in about 6 hours.
I always appreciate the time from these guys, especially after weigh-ins, man. You guys all know how hard it is. You can certainly hear it in his voice. We're trying to keep it relatively quick with him. We're talking about the best regions, best fighters from different countries. How about the best American lightweight? Because you look at this card with Gaethje and Poirier and Tony Ferguson back in the day. You got 3 of the best American lightweights of all time. If you had to pick one of those guys to be the best right now, Bilal, who would you go with?
I think I would go with Dustin. Just the guys that he beat, the resume that he's had, and having a win over Justin too. I just think that Dustin is one of the best lightweights of all time in general.
He is. But for me, I think we can't forget what B.J. Penn was and who B.J. Penn is always going to be remembered as. I mean, this guy set the standard for fighting, and from heavyweight all the way down to 155. So I'm going to say B.J. Penn is the greatest American lightweight of all time.
I concur. B.J. Penn, man, what he did when he was doing what he was doing,
yeah, he was the man.
Was absolutely like it was in a different world. Like I don't think that today's MMA can really fully grasp what he did when he was doing it.
Well, that's the problem, right? Some of the pioneers of the sport, they were so ahead of the curve that when we start to see things that are normal today, BJ was doing that back then when it wasn't normal. Yeah. Everybody couldn't do what B.J. Penn did. They couldn't grapple at that level. They couldn't wrestle at that level. They couldn't strike at that. He just had so many great performances. So still B.J. Penn for me.
How about best Nigerian-born fighter?
I think I'm going to go with Usman. You know, being in my weight class, the resume that he put out there, he was on one of the longest streaks in UFC history. I think I'm going to go with Kamaru just for everything he's done. And he was in the UFC before Izzy, so I'm going to go with him.
Very close for me, but I think it's Adesanya. I mean, Adesanya has gone to a level that is not very easy to reach, not only with the fighting style, but also the star power that he possesses now. I'm saying Adesanya because this is a kickboxer, and he's beating wrestlers. They can't take him down, right? It's easier for a wrestler to learn striking than for a striking guy to learn wrestling.
Yeah, and plus, like, I'm going Izzy too. His body of work is just, I think it's at a different level. Like, the way he's doing it as opposed to Usman. Like, Usman had a lot of time to come into them shoes. Izzy came in and just immediately rose. And then and think about where he can still go. And not only just fighting-wise, but star power-wise. So I got to go with Izzy.
I'm switching my pick. I'm going Izzy too now.
Oh, you let him bully you into switching your pick?
He was like poking me. He was telling me like, bro.
No, I didn't. No, he's just like once we said it's easier because he knows he's a wrestler, right? It was easier for you than a kickboxing guy because a kickboxing guy doesn't get that natural feel of the takedowns.
But I'm also like a natural athlete, so I can do it all. It all came pretty easy to me. So.
You got some fat ankles. So I don't think you're that good. I don't think you're that good an athlete.
Got
them cankles.
From Nigeria to Russia, we go. Best Russian. Born fighter in MMA history.
You know who it is. You know what you just told me off air.
I didn't tell you nothing off air. You know, I'm going to go with my boy, the man who I think is the GOAT, Khabib Nurmagomedov. There's nobody that can do what he did. Like, what are you?
You literally just said Fedor.
I did not.
He literally just said Fedor like a second ago.
He can't say that because he's wearing the shoes that Khabib bought him.
That's right. That was part of the deal.
For me, Fedor Emelianenko was special, right? Heavyweight, so good. But ultimately, the world of fighting caught up to him. I don't know if Khabib was still here, if people would have caught up yet, because Dustin and Justin are still number 2 and 3 in the world. So you got to imagine Khabib would still be rolling through the division. So for me, I think it's Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Question. Prime DC versus Prime Fedor. Who wins? The best American fighter of all time? Against your best Russian fighter of all time.
He was good, man. He was really good.
What would your game plan be?
I think he might have got me.
Really?
Yeah, I think he might have got me. He was good, man.
I mean, I don't know. It's different because you got to also understand, too, that generationally, the fighting style was different. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's more information now. So, like, if you were to be able to, at your best, game plan for him at his best, you'd have stuff he never seen before.
Absolutely. But you always put the other man over.
Yeah. But for me, Fedor was the best Russian fighter. I think that what he was doing in that time, again, ahead of the curve. Way ahead of the curve.
Like this right now? Come on.
Man, he retired
Both
early.
you guys are saying the same answer for every question.
He retired
Dude,
early.
I said Khabib.
Oh, you said Khabib?
He said Khabib.
Oh, okay.
This dude, he don't pay.
No, you rose up Fedor, though, right?
Yeah, because you got to give him his roses.
All right.
I think I already know the answer for the next one, but best Hawaiian-born fighter. Max or BJ, basically, right? Has to be one of those two
I think
guys.
for me...
Oh, I mean, you still got the tall guy.
What tall guy? I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Brad Tavares or the tall skinny dude.
Listen, I'm
Yancey.
going.
He got Yancey too.
Hey, I'm going Rachel Ostrovich. You know what I'm saying? Hey, DZ.
Bow. You guys are crazy. Man. You guys are crazy.
For me, I'm going to go Max Holloway. I think that Max Holloway, one of the best featherweights of all time in history. He's my favorite fighter to watch in general.
Yeah.
And I still wasn't in the BJ Penn era of watching him and growing up with him. I was growing up watching Max Holloway.
Yo, how old are you? Like 17? Because if you were growing up watching Max Holloway.
I'm not a come up, dude. Come up. You never watch fights on the come up, like training and stuff.
This dude's like, I was growing up watching Max. 17 years old or something. I think I'm going to agree with you, Bilal, because I love BJ Penn and I love what he did. But when we talk about Max Holloway, his title run, the way that he went up to 155, challenged for the interim championship, him and Dustin had a great fight. I'm going Max Holloway.
BJ all the way. BJ, I mean, he had his own show where he fought Machida.
Oh, yeah, he did.
He went up and fought Machida and didn't gain weight for it.
See, the problem with
and was competitive. BJ all the way, man. I mean, he really was doing things that no one would do today.
I really hate Dean in that chair, man.
He's
like
smart.
mega smart.
He's smart. I mean, Chuzisenko whipping up on you. Now the spirit of Lorisenko is here with
Dean gonna end up winning. Dean gonna end up winning like a trivia contest. He's terrible at that too.
Well, we're going to have a little contest here, which is why R.J. Clifford has stepped to the stage. We've talked about rematches. This fight between Poirier and Gaethje is one of the most highly anticipated rematches of all time. So that made us think and kind of noodle a little bit. What are the top 5 best rematches of all time? DC, let's start with you on this.
Don't bring Mick Maynard up here to pick because he takes forever. You remember
He does take a while. We had to explain TV to
like
Mick.
Mick,
Come on,
get
man.
off of the air, bro. All right.
even on YouTube, we got to keep it moving.
At number 5, I got Brock versus Frank Mir 2. You remember Brock put it on him? When Brock had him against the side of the octagon, really put it on him after he got submitted the first time. Great one. Number 2, Conor and Nate 2, the second fight. That was a really good fight. And Conor showed that he was the man who was able to win that fight late, and the leg kicks carried him to the victory. BJ Penn versus GSP, the second fight. Amazing fight from two of the guys that at that time you would have considered that a super fight. We didn't get those. We didn't get super fight between guys like that. Chuck and Randy, too. Remember in the beginning, Chuck was like the little brother, couldn't handle Randy. Came back, got the job done. And at number 1, the best fight of all time. I know we've been like singing Robbie's praises for the fight with Rory McDonald. There was one fight that was better, and it was Henderson versus Shogun in San Jose. The first time the UFC went to San Jose because they had bought Strikeforce. It was an amazing fight. I saw it live. That's my greatest rematch in UFC history.
You can tell DC's a businessman because he went like top 5 biggest pay-per-view rematches.
Wait,
I'm a fight fan. I'm going action. You got Brock in there.
That was a great fight. I love the story because I love the story. It's not just about the fight to me.
GSP Penn was one-sided. It was just
doesn't
GSP
matter
wrestling for 4
but it doesn't
rounds.
matter though. It was a great fight.
Well, as a fight fan, let me give you the fight fan top 5 list.
Yeah.
There's some money matches in there too. Diaz McGregor too, obviously fantastic. And also it goes against the fact that like, oh, Conor McGregor, he can't do long fights. He was down 2-1 and won the last 2 championship rounds against Nate Diaz, the cardio machine. Maynard Edgar 2, remember when he was almost dead? That was the closest thing to a 10-7 round, I think, in like a big championship fight we've ever seen. Hughes Trigg 2. Here we go! And slams him across the game. That's one of the coolest things that's ever happened in an MMA fight.
That's a moment.
And the whole fight, and he came back, he got kneed in the nuts,
it was
almost
a moment,
gets finished, gets up, slams Trigg down, chokes him out. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was a good fight.
Yeah, thank you. I concur. Hendo Shogun 2. Unbelievable. It was, I don't know which one's better, Hendo Shogun 1 or Hendo Shogun 2. That's another conversation. And then number 1, arguably the greatest fight of all time.
I think Henderson
Robbie Lawler, Rory McDonald. It just went in the Hall of Fame. Robbie Lawler just retired weeks ago.
I didn't realize that was a rematch.
It's one of the best fights ever.
I didn't even realize that was a rematch. I thought that was the first time they fought.
See the 2 little lines at the end of the title? That's a 2.
Dominic Cruz is right. DC doesn't do his homework, right?
Dominic Cruz said your own list together? Like, what are your
I
kids
just
doing
didn't
it for
remember.
you? Like, what's going
little
on?
Daniel was like, little Daniel was like, that was fun. I was like, hey, watch these 5 fights.
DC, you're off today. You let Dustin Poirier get in a plug before you did today. You're off.
Oh,
There's something going on
All
today.
my interviews are on YouTube, my channel right now.
See, now no one's going to go because you don't do your research.
Yeah, I got Dustin Poirier dropping in a little bit.
All right, Bilal, I know you got a few on your list that we haven't seen yet.
Well, my list is definitely better than DC because I think he just Googled best rematches of all time, and that's how he got his list.
These are the fights that I like.
Bro. All right.
He's a
so I'm going to
businessman.
go with Bisping and Hendo. That rematch, I think, was huge, especially for a guy like Bisping after that big knockout, and then to come back and it was just a moment of, oh man, is Hendo gonna catch him again? There's always those moments of him almost getting knocked out.
Number 4 is a good one.
I know it's a good one.
That's a good one.
Dustin against Max Holloway, another great fight. Both those guys came to bring it. Max Holloway went up to 155, and they put on a show. You saw that? You like that?
It wasn't
you want to look at the rest of this list?
Let me see the rest.
Frankie against Gray Maynard, too.
That's a good one.
That was the first fight I ever went to live, and that's one of the ones that got me into the UFC growing up.
I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It's crazy they let you into a casino when you're only 7 years old. That's wild. We gotta talk to the MGM.
You had that beard, you know.
Security, right?
I had facial hair when I came out. And then Robbie Lawler against Rory, too. One of the best fights of all time. I don't know. DC's going to mention that fight, but not put it on his list, which didn't make any sense. And then Jose Aldo against Chad Mendes, too. The way that first fight went, that fight was so good from both guys. Jose Aldo's one of my favorite guys to watch. Him and Chad Mendes just brought it the whole 5 rounds.
I love it. All right, so I'm starting with that one. Aldo Mendes, too. I think that was the time when we really was like, man, Mendes can fight, right? That was when we really was like, he could fight. Next, Edgar Maynard. Angela Hill said Frankie Edgar was like one of them little dolls that you punch and it just keeps coming back, the little plastic things, and that's what he was like in that fight. Get knocked down, coming right back. Couldn't put him away. Number 3, Hughes Trigg. I know it was moments, but that's what this sport is made of. This sport is made up of moments. Number 4, Poirier and Holloway. How can you not add that one on your list? I mean, what a great fight that was. And lastly, Lawler McDonald, too. No one will forget that fight no matter what you do. That fight is just in the history books.
I actually thought that was the first fight.
Really?
When did they fight before?
They fought before, and Lawler stopped him in the 3rd.
Yeah, I think he finished him.
He finished him in the 3rd.
Bro, do your homework, bro. Dominic
We're gonna see just how much homework all of you guys have done. Little fight of the year trivia.
Man, let's do this.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Fight of the year trivia. RJ's handing out the whiteboards. When you think of some of the best fights in UFC history, obviously Gaethje and Poirier is certainly up there on your list. So I'm gonna give you guys somewhere between 3 and 5 hints. Okay. And when you know the name of the fight that I'm talking about, we're going to use whiteboards. I don't think you need the whiteboards for this one. Just shout it out, all right? So you don't have to write this down. So you have to be right, though. You have to be right when you shout it out. If you shout out and you're wrong, you're out. So if 2 people guess and they're wrong, you're better off just waiting for all the clues before you shout it out, okay?
Right.
If you know you're right, shout it out.
Okay,
That's the risk you're taking.
you.
All right, here's fight number 1. Widely considered the best fight in the UFC of all time. Best UFC fight of all time.
Robbie Lawler, Rory McDonald, too. See,
Oh, now he remembers. What are the odds?
Yeah,
You're welcome. Always researching.
remember when RJ was talking about it, but okay. All right, fight number 2. It was a number 1 contenders match for the light heavyweight title. Hint number 2. The winner of this fight was making his return to the UFC after a 2-year absence.
I know. Stop. Chuck Liddell and Rampage Jackson.
Wrong!
Ah, damn.
All right, you're out. Hint number 3. These fighters met twice in their careers. 1 fight in San Jose, 1 fight in Brazil.
I know. Shogun versus Dan Henderson.
No, you're out. Hint number 4. Both are considered Pride legends.
Dan Henderson and Shogun Rua.
You're out.
Dan Henderson and Shogun Rua.
You got it, Blau.
I gave him the answer.
You just gave it to him. All right, fight number 3. It was the fight of the year in 2013. Fight of the year in 2013. Okay? It was a back-and-forth fight with the win coming by a controversial split decision. Hint number 3. These fighters fought again in 18. The winner of the first fight won the second time in dominant fashion.
That's crazy, man.
Hint number 4.
John Jones and Alexander Gustafsson.
Got it. Yes, Dean. Yes, Dean.
It's the chair, baby. It's the chair.
Let's go.
Man, it's tied.
All right, fight number 4. This fight stole the show at UFC 248. That was headlined by Izzy and Yoel Romero. But this fight stole the show at 248. It was the first of 2 title fights. It was the first of 2 title fights between these 2 fighters.
Joanna against
Yang
Wendy
Lee.
Lee. I said it.
Bilal.
Why?
Because he had them both. He said them both before you said them both. You said one. All right, fight number 5. Here we go. Fight of the year in 2018. The loser of this fight was fighting in his home state. Both fighters went on to capture a form of UFC gold after this fight.
Oh my God.
Leg kicks were a big part of this war. So by a form of UFC gold, I mean both fighters were interim champs.
I know. 2018?
It ended in the 4th round.
Poirier versus Poirier.
Dean.
What?
Got him. It's our main event. It took you 5 minutes to get
That's
it.
Dean Thomas. That's Dean Thomas.
All right. Fight number 6, widely known as one of the greatest comebacks in UFC history. Both fighters are now retired.
Frankie against Gray.
Nope. You're out.
Back up.
One of these fighters has coached a former UFC champion who still competes today, Rose Namajunas. Their kickboxing pedigrees made this a stand-up war to remember.
Pat Barry and
I know it. Pat Barry, Czech Congo.
I know it's
DC.
someone today, and I was like, oh man.
Wow, this
Dang,
is good.
it's tied.
Yeah.
All right. Fight number 7, 2-2-2. We have 2 to go, but this could decide. All right, here we go. Back and forth title fight that ended in a split decision. Iconic moment of both fighters exhausted, hanging over the cage at the end of the fight. One of these fighters has already been mentioned on this list. Already been mentioned.
Oh my goodness.
It was for the UFC welterweight championship.
Robbie Lawler and Carlos Condit.
Got it. DC.
DC.
Okay, we have 1 more to go. So it's 3-2-2.
Come on.
If you get this, you win. If it's tied, we go to a tiebreaker. Fight number 8. This fight was the main card opener of UFC 268 at MSG. The loser of this fight has fought both fighters in the main event here in Salt Lake of UFC 291.
I know it. I know who it is. Hold on. Stop.
Anthony Pettis, Tony Ferguson.
You're out. The winner of this fight fought for the lightweight title in his next fight.
Let
me read the hints over again.
Please go. Yeah.
This fight was the main card opener of UFC 268 at Madison Square Garden.
Mm-hmm.
The loser of this fight has fought both of the fighters in the main event here in Salt Lake.
It's Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler.
Got it. DC
Bro.
keeps the belt. No need for a tiebreaker. Wow, that was strong. That was really impressive.
Hey, now somebody has to spin the wheel, and I'm You like that thing? Give that old golf swing.
That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, it's on you, bro. Spin the wheel, Bilal. Bully B, Bilal. Spin that wheel, Bilal.
Let's see what we have
Let's see what we have for Bilal.
On the wheel of misfortune.
Come on.
Oh, best impression.
Best impression.
Best impression.
Best
You gotta do an
impression.
impression. Impersonate somebody.
You could just go, do we have a pillow? You could just put a pillow in your gut and walk around like you're DC.
Oh, yeah? That's what we're doing? Okay. Actually, I want Dan Henley to spin the wheel.
Yeah, let's switch it. Can we switch it?
Can I do that? Yeah,
Yes.
Dan Henley, spin the wheel.
That's already
That's a
been
good
done.
point.
No, it hasn't.
It's decent.
Spin the wheel, Dan Henley. Keep talking. Because I'm going to win again. Keep talking, Dan Henley.
Here we go. Where it lands, nobody will know. Mirror convo. Oh, positive affirmations in the mirror. Senko's really good at this.
I don't have the oldest face in television.
You look very good after you put on your face cream today. The hair is perfectly coiffed. I know you work really hard at that. And contrary to what DC says, you are not a casual. You are fast. Even though you are somewhat new to the game compared to these OGs and legends who are here on the stage, you try so hard.
Yeah, you do.
I
love
you.
this.
Are good. You are good.
Good that like, hey, yeah,
I love that.
Thank you.
I love it.
All right, look who we have.
Oh, my God.
Derek Lewis stepping to the stage. This is going to be an interesting fight for Lewis, man, if he can't kind of turn things around and get stuff going. He looks good, though.
He looks tiny.
God.
I mean,
is
Derek
that like
Lewis looks
am I
great.
seeing a
He does have abs.
A six-pack?
What? What is happening?
Is that the shadow or that?
No, he's really got abs.
Yeah, that looks like abs.
Gotta be the 250.
263 and a half, the
That's-
official weight for
dude,
Derek Lewis.
263, and he looks like that. That's amazing. I thought he was in the 250s.
He looks great.
He's so happy. Look at him.
I mean, Derek Lewis's stomach doesn't even go past his chest.
And it's never been like that before.
No, it always goes past. Most heavyweights do. Your stomach go past your chest.
I mean, we've seen it with you, bud. So.
Shut up.
I mean, you can put your shorts over your stomach, though. Right?
Below, you know how they say I got Dana White privilege? If you keep acting this way, you'll never fight for the World Championship.
Who's nicer on the roster than Wonder Boy? I mean, look, he's just like, it's unbelievable.
He is nice, man.
It was the hardest thing to fight him because I was trying to figure out something to hate him for. Like, I didn't want to hit him.
And he lures you into that niceness, right? Like, he's hugging you and he's kissing you.
He has that accent,
He wanted
too.
to take a picture before the weigh-in.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, we're fighting
170 and a half, the official weight for Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
It's the accent, too, that adds to him being so nice, right? He's always so bubbly.
Yeah,
And then he gets in a cage and he kicks you and you're like, bro, I
It's
thought we
kind
were
of crazy,
boys.
though, because for so long you were waiting for him to show the other side of himself and that he's fake, but he's not fake.
No,
He's
not.
like Mr. Rogers, right? I really thought that he was going to have dirt, but he don't got no dirt.
All right, so this is interesting. We have 4 fighters left to weigh in. Atop the list is Michel Pereira, who is a big welterweight. He is scheduled to be Wonder Boy's opponent. Rogerio de Lima is a heavyweight, so no real concern there. So the other 3 on the list, Ferguson, Pereira, and Salvador. But let's talk about Michel Pereira here for a minute. A very big welterweight, supposed to be fighting Stephen Thompson. Level of concern there with 59 minutes left to weigh in for Pereira. He missed weight back in 2019, so certainly this has been an issue in the past.
So it's happened before.
Twice in the last 5 years.
Okay, so it's happened twice in the last 5 years. So it can happen, but there's an hour, right? You don't start to panic yet at an hour, unless he's still 3 pounds overweight or something like that. If he's anywhere within the 1 to 2 pound range with an hour to go, you're still in business. You don't want to be late, but with an hour to go, you still got a lot of time. But those last couple pounds will take an hour because you've taken so much out of yourself getting to where you're within range of the weight.
And he's huge. Well, I like to side myself up against any welterweights that I see walking around the hotel, and I'm like, bro, he still looks big yesterday. And if it happened before, I'm sitting there like, all right, this could be an issue because he's a guy that could literally walk around at middleweight. He's a big dude.
See, I don't like this, especially being in altitude, right? Because you're going to have to do some work to get that off. You're going to have to run or do some type of work to get that off. And if he's new to this altitude, like he hasn't been here for a couple of weeks, this is going to be hard for him to make that weight if he is like 3 pounds over.
Or, I mean, you could just do a towel trick and then make the...
Bro, don't
text
do
him.
that.
Bro, you pull out your phone. Why'd you pull out your phone to text him?
Well, I was trying to find out how much he actually weighs, you know? I'm doing my job, you know? Reach out to Team Pereira, see if I can get a number.
We've talked about this card for, I feel like, 2 months and how stacked it is. And one of the reasons is because of the depth, right? The last, 6, 7 fights are all spectacular. And certainly Thompson and Pereira, one of the reasons why stylistically this is a tremendous matchup between 2 guys whose stand-up game is phenomenal. What stands out the most to you about this one, and how do you break it down?
I mean, this could be a really fun fight. I mean, we got a guy like Pereira who just, I mean, he's a whirlwind. He does flips, he does crazy stuff. He's so athletic, he's so big. And you got Wonder Boy, arguably the best striker in the UFC. He's a little bit older now. Pereira has been fighting a little bit smarter, so it does have the potential to be a different type of fight than we imagine. Like, we think it might be this striking battle, but if Pereira says, you know what, if I beat the number 7 guy, I might be able to get to a championship, I think Pereira takes him down.
Really?
I mean, unless they made that agreement, like Kevin Holland, we saw it, that agreement before, and Wonder Boy's nice enough to make you make that agreement.
Right here you see Tony Ferguson. Now, one thing about Tony Ferguson is he's back at 155. He said that he feels faster, he feels better, he's at his more natural weight class. And honestly, talking to him this week, I know his behavior at the press conference, right? It can get a bit odd. But when you're sitting in front of him, he was more well thought. He was better, like in terms of his clarity in what he was trying to get across to us than he was in the Diaz fight week or the fight week he's supposed to fight the Leech.
155, the official weight for Tony Ferguson.
155 for Tony Ferguson. And one of the things he said that played a part in him being more clear was that he was done with the anger. He was going to let go of some of that anger that he was carrying that was making him act in the way that he was, and he feels by doing that, he's better prepared to be successful this weekend.
A massive underdog to Bobby Green is Tony Ferguson.
I mean, if you go on his last performance, you got to say, yeah, man, it makes sense. I mean, it's hard to imagine a guy who was on that run that he had is a massive underdog in this spot, but it does make sense. And then when you look at the stylistic matchup, Bobby Green has the ability to stunt on him. Bobby Green is faster, he's slicker, more skilled in terms of technique on the feet. He has the ability to really stunt on Tony Ferguson. But let's not forget, though, while we say Tony Ferguson wasn't looking that good in his past fight, he was looking pretty good against Chandler until he got kicked in the face.
And the level of competition, right? He's fighting all these champions. He's losing to Beneil Dariush. He's losing to Oliveira. He's not losing to bums, right? He's getting beat by the best guys in the world. And I think, obviously, his level of competition is a lot higher than Bobby Green. So I think this is the fight for both these guys where it's like Bobby always wanted that name on his resume. And Tony needed a guy that didn't have that big, championship, old champion or something. Step back a little bit, right? So for both guys, we'll see where they're at in their career.
We're going to know exactly who Tony Ferguson is after this, if we didn't know in the Diaz fight. But in the Diaz fight, you can at least point to the fact that he was heavy. The switch was made on a couple of days, maybe a day notice, right, at the weigh-ins. So there are reasons why he might have looked like he looked, but you can't forget the visual. He was much slower. He looked kind of like lost out there at times, but he didn't get finished till the fourth round. He was scheduled for a 3-round fight, so all those things play to maybe Tony Ferguson will be better. But when you look at the fight on paper, Bobby Green has not slowed down at all. His hand speed would seem to be an issue for Tony Ferguson. But hey, Tony said he's faster than he's ever been. 5 fights to the title. That's been his mantra this whole week, so let's see.
That's been his mantra the whole week, but some think this potentially, maybe this, if he doesn't win this one, this could be his last fight.
But no, guys like Tony Ferguson, I think they've done too much to get let go.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know if it would be his last fight if he decided he's done. But guys like Tony Ferguson don't generally get let go.
Little update here on Michel Pereira. I am hearing that he is overweight as of now. On the check scale, he's been overweight, so he's going to try to cut, and he has about 55 minutes to do so.
Well, if he's checking here, if he's checking at the weigh-ins, then wait, are they weighing at the hotel?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
Went back to his room. So he's probably sitting in the hot tub right now. But as Dean said, it's a matter of how much he's over. Because if he's still over, you ain't going to sit that weight off. You got
to move. You got to get that heart rate going.
Yep. That's all sweating is. Sweating is getting your heart rate going. Once you start to sweat, just extending the time. So it takes about 15 minutes for you to start to get the sweat going at a good rate. And then you can walk, you can run, you can do whatever. As long as you do it for a long period of time, you make the weight. But in an hour, if you're hydrated, 10 pounds. But when you're dehydrated, it gets a little bit more difficult.
Okay, so what's a reasonable amount right now? He's obviously dehydrated right now.
He's very dehydrated. If he's any more than like 2.5 pounds, he's in trouble.
But mentally, those are the hardest pounds. That last 0.5 is going to be the hardest thing, where he's going to need his coaches or his family to push him, like, let's get back in the tub. Like, you're going to have to get dragged in there.
Boston, one of the greatest cities in the country in terms of championship history, right? I defended my championship there. 4 pounds. 4 pounds. It took 5 hours. 5 hours because that last bit of weight would not move. And then the weigh-ins were done at 11. And I got in the sauna with 1 pound to go, and all of a sudden, I just started sweating because I had kind of released my mind, like, if I don't do this now, it's not going to happen. But that 4 pounds took 5 hours, 4.5 pounds.
So,
and working, running, walking, sauning, pummeling, like 4 pounds.
It obviously just depends what state your
So
body's in. But
dehydrated.
if he's would 174 be that number where you're like that's too much right now?
Oh, that would be way.
That would be.
That's not happening.
He ain't making in 50 minutes. He ain't making 71 if he's 74. He needs to be 72 and a half, 73 at the most with 45 minutes to go.
All right. Well, we'll keep you posted on that one. On this card is Derek Lewis, who is tied with Matt Brown for most knockouts in UFC history at 13. So if the Black Beast were to get another knockout, he would be the KO
knockout king,
the reigning knockout king, which brings us to the biggest threats to pass Derek Lewis and Matt Brown on the all-time knockout list. The order. Just who do we want to start with? Let's start with Bilal, our guest analyst.
Well, if I'm gonna go, this is a hard list to figure out, bro.
He couldn't do this one.
That record is crazy. Bro, it tells you how good these guys are, Matt Brown and Black Beast are. So for me, I mean, I'm gonna go with Sergey, who's just finishing guys, 6 knockout streak, could be the future heavyweight champion. Then I'm gonna go with Charles Oliveira. He's a finisher. And he's still young, and he's still fighting the best guys in the world and finishing the best guys in the world. Tom Aspinall, a younger heavyweight who has speed and agility, and as Bisbee said, John Jones can't hold a candle to him, right? I don't believe it, though. I don't know what Bisbee's talking about, but I don't believe it. And then Dustin Poirier. You know, he's going to come to finish all the time, and I think he still has a lot more fight left in him, right? I think he's going to be in a lot more fun
DC
fights.
agrees based on the giggle, I'm assuming. Right?
No, I'm looking at his last.
Bro, what do you mean, John Jones?
He traditionally hits softer than anybody in the heavyweights in the world. Has he knocked anybody out in his entire life?
Bro,
I mean, one guy.
He had one.
I can think of one guy.
No,
Don't have to look at knockout the greatest American fighter of all
that's
time.
not a knockout. He's got 2 knockouts.
But the record is knockouts or TKOs. It don't matter. It has a KO at the end of it.
Oh, I went knockouts.
Again, you didn't do your
Come
homework.
on, dude. TKO's
Just knockouts.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, all right, DC. Go
All
ahead.
right,
Let's see what
mine.
DC's
All
list
right.
is.
Dustin Poirier, that was a good one, because Dustin Poirier's been around for a while.
Too old.
Sergey Pavlovich, Tai Tuivasa, because let me tell you why Tai Tuivasa, because now that he's lost at the higher part of, he'll start to fight back. And you know how when he was fighting back, he was knocking everybody out. And then you start to put him in fun fights, and he starts getting more knockouts. That's why Derek Lewis is at the top of the knockout rating, because for so long he's fighting guys that he could knock out. And Alex Pereira. I know Alex is older, but he has the ability to knock people out not only in up-and-coming fights, but he can knock champions out. So that's my list. Those are the big.
You're supposed to be 5. Did you
know.
gas out halfway through it?
There was literally no like number. They didn't say top 5.
It was
literally said top
exactly
5.
top 5. Yeah.
Somebody in the truck, could you confirm that it did not say top 5? Thank you. They wouldn't have let me.
The guy in the truck told me.
All right, so I have my list, and this was so hard to do because there's a lot of factors to consider. Like Dustin Poirier, like he might be done after this fight. So like those are the factors that I considered. And to DC's point, they got to be guys fighting in the middle. So I have Kevin Holland.
Yep.
He's still young enough to where he can try to make a run for that. Joaquin Buckley, young enough where he can make a run at that. Sergey Pavlovich, he's young. He's at the top now, but you never know. He might have to go back and start knocking guys out. Tai Tuivasa for the same reason you said. And then I got Drew Dober because he has the potential to do that.
It's got to be the guys that are kind of fighting at the middle.
Yeah, you can't be fighting top-level guys,
Age has a big thing to do with this. So when I was putting my list together, it was the guys who you knew were going to get a lot of knockouts and have gotten a lot of knockouts, like Sergey Pavlovich, and Tom Aspinall is going to be certainly well on his way. But I have a couple of guys I don't think we've seen yet. Michael Morales, the Ecuadorian, who's 15-0, 3-0 in the UFC with 2 knockouts already. He's just 23 years old.
He's awesome.
So he has a long way to go.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Ian Machado Gary, also undefeated.
That's
another guy I love, 5-0 in the UFC, 3 knockouts. He's just 25 years old. So the runway for these 2 dudes, very, very long.
So I busted out the TI-83 calculator and did the math here. There's 3 things I think matter the most, and that's age, obviously. If you're older, right, you only have so many more fights. Current knockouts you have now. And knockdown average per 15 minutes is the biggest one. Sergey Pavlovich, 6.31 knockdowns per 15 minutes, only 31 years old, 6 knockouts in only 7 fights. Tom Aspinall, 2.78 knockdown average per 15 minutes, that's number 4, only 30, he has 4 knockouts. Drew Dober as well, 8 knockouts. Last 6 wins were all KOs. So like he's getting better at knocking people out. and he's only 34. Adrian Yanez, only 29, 1.78 knockdown average per 15 minutes. He has 4 knockouts in 6 UFC fights. And Sean O'Malley is pretty knockouty, and he's only 28, 61% striking accuracy.
That's
Numbers, math.
Raiders vocabulary. Raider fan vocabulary.
Do we have everybody?
Yeah, we got
everybody gone.
everybody's got
Okay,
it.
let's-
No, because Bilal's list was very forgettable.
Me and RJ both had like 3 guys that were the same ones.
His list was very forgettable.
What sparked this obviously was Derek Lewis and Matt Brown being tied as the reigning knockout kings in the UFC. But Derek Lewis has been a different guy, DC. You know, he's lost 3 in a row. He's not. It doesn't seem to be having as much fun. Like, he had a weight cut where he said he passed out recently. Do you think we're going to see the old, dynamic, exuberant Derek Lewis again, or do you think that Derek Lewis could be done after this fight?
This will be the return of the Black Beast.
Really?
He will be as good as he's ever been in this fight this weekend. Just seeing him on the scale, looking at his body, looking at how ready he is. That tells me that Derek Lewis is taking his fight camp serious, and he is ready to get the job done. So I expect a great Derek Lewis. Does that mean that we will consistently get a better Derek Lewis? I don't know. But on this night, I think he'll be better.
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know how old he is, but I know when I hit 36, training was done. I was like,
he's 38.
He's 38 years old. So for me, 36 is kind of that number where you just start to lose motivation. You don't want to get up and train. You're tired of it. You're sick of it. Now, as a heavyweight, you can go a little bit longer because the game is a little bit slower, but your motivation still isn't there. Now, after losing 3 fights in a row, I just can't imagine him being totally motivated to want to go out there and be that guy. I can't see it. I think he's, essentially fighting for a check.
He made a lot of money.
And that's what happens when you're not fighting when you're not motivated to fight. You just, hey, I got to get paid.
But looking at him on the scale, we're seeing abs, we're seeing a guy. I just think people are just looking into his interviews now because he's not had that same type of funny energy or anything like that. But that's extra pressure on you. I think he's full focus. For a guy like me, I don't have the type of money that he has, but the fact that he looks like he's losing weight, it tells me that he is running, he is jogging, he is trying to get this win. And losing back to back to back is hard. And I know that he doesn't want to go out like that, so it tells me that he's going to come in there and he's going to put on a show and he's going to get his knockout streak back.
Yeah, but like him running and stuff like that, that's getting in shape for sure. That's getting in shape, but that's not helping his fighting.
But heavyweights don't really got to train. Like, they're unathletic. We're looking, like, you don't need that. You just need power. You just need cardio, right? For a guy like Derek Lewis, for a knockout streak, he's not going to go in there and wrestle. You're this late in your career. You're not going to change it up to become a wrestler or become a jiu-jitsu guy. He likes to knock people out. And I think this is the fight where he's going to go in there and he's going to want to bang it out. So being in high altitude, you got to have the cardio to do that.
I apologize for DC Blau. You caught him in kind of mid-text. Like, it is the middle of the show, and he hadn't texted in at least 5 minutes, so he was, he's
No, what are you talking about?
What are you doing over there?
What are you talking about, text?
I mean, focus on the show.
I was getting my rent-free moment.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. Let's play a little rapid fire.
Oh, it was rapid fire I was getting.
Yeah. Here we go. All right. We got to go quick. We got to go quick. And obviously, there's no card for rapid fire, so we know he's lying Bilal because we don't have these. All right. Harder matchup for Islam. Poirier or Gaethje?
Gaethje.
I think I'm going to go Poirier.
Okay.
I'm going Gaethje. He won the first round against Habib.
Okay. Fact or fiction? Justin Gaethje attempts a takedown.
Fiction.
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 He attempted his first takedown in his last fight against
Yeah,
Aziz.
but this is different.
Okay. More likely, the winner of the main event defends his BMF title next or fights for the lightweight title. Defends the BMF title or fights for the lightweight title.
Fights for
next.
the title.
What happens next? Title. Okay.
Lightweight title.
Fights for the belt next, yeah. Number 1 contender.
Okay, gotcha. Over, under 2.5 rounds for the main event.
Over.
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 Agreed. Buy or sell? Loser of the main event retires. Buy or sell?
Sell.
I'm selling. I'm hoping.
If Poirier loses, I think he retires.
Interesting. Okay. Fight on the card that could steal fight of the night from Poirier Gaethje.
Holland Chiesa.
Wonderboy Pereira. I think that's the fight.
This boy tripping, man.
That's the first thing that came to my mind. I'm like,
This boy,
that's the first thing that came to my mind. I don't know why that came to my mind. I was like,
You want to take it back now?
yeah, let me take it back.
Come on, Laura.
I know, right?
Sanko never takes it back.
No, she don't take it back now.
I'm trying to think.
No, I'm keeping it. That's my boy. That's my boy.
I'm trying to think, man. I can't remember.
Read your cards.
Let's go Pereira versus Blachowicz. Yeah.
Okay. True or false? Alex Pereira will be better at 205 than 185.
True.
True.
False. He won't be able to. Too big. They're gonna take him down there.
I think he's gonna be better, but he's still gonna lose.
No, but I think I'm gonna take him down there. I think.
Okay.
Dean, you tripping, man?
Fact or fiction? Jan will use the same game plan against Alex that he used against Izzy.
True.
True.
Fiction. He's gonna take him down earlier. He will not stand with him as long. Too dangerous.
Okay. All right. Buy or sell? The winner of Blachowicz Pereira will fight for the light heavyweight title next. Buy or
Sell.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm buying that one for sure.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a buy-sell. I'm kind of with Dean. I sell because if Pereira wins,
I don't think he fights.
I think that he'll fight at 185. He wants to fight 85.
If he wins?
Yep. He wants to fight 85. He just wants to fight 85. I think that's what he's going to do.
Okay.
So he doesn't want a title.
Well, he'll fight for the belt at 85.
But if he wins at 205.
But
Yes, bro. I think he just wants to fight 85. I'm saying.
why wouldn't you fight for the belt if you can fight for it at 205?
Why don't you fight
why is
for it
he
at
here?
205? Easier.
Is he just hanging out?
He just wants a fight. He wants a fight, and Izzy told him. Izzy told him to go up, essentially. Izzy's like, yeah, we're not fighting again. He should fight at 205.
Okay, so why didn't you just stay at 205 and fight for the belt at 205?
But Izzy shouldn't make those decisions, and I think now he's understanding, like, wait, I let this dude make me go up. I won 3 times. He's like, I don't have to, like, he wants to fight Adesanya. I'm telling you, he wants to fight Adesanya.
Yay or nay? Wonder Boy has another title run in him.
Nay.
He's 40.
Nay.
Big boy.
Nay, bro, like, that's the craziest question.
I know that.
Who did that?
Sorry, my bad.
See, that's one of those things. That's one of those things where you look in that mirror and go, I'm not a casual. Like, that's one of the problems. He says
Did you come
like
up with that question?
That's the one question they let you do.
take all the blame.
You gonna put it in there.
You came up with that question?
It's a lot of hard work, guys.
The one they gave you, you gonna ask about Wonder Boy. This dude right here done won 7 fights in a row. He ain't get a title fight.
I think it's 8. Is it 8?
It's actually 9, but
Wow.
This man done won 9 fights in a row and can't get a title fight. You thought Wonder Boy was gonna get a title fight.
It's coming up next.
Wonder Boy gonna win and jump along.
Coming up next. All right, good move or bad move? Michael Chiesa quickly trying to engage in grappling against Holland. Oh, here's the. Oh my God.
He got 5 more wins in the titles out.
You guys are not right.
He like Leon Edwards.
go ahead. Who's doing that right there?
Most
Come on.
disrespected
Man.
fight on the planet. All right. That was good. Chiesa needs to try to engage in grappling against Holland quickly.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
Oh, look at Dean. Look at Dean. We only know he is because he's on RJ's radio show.
Dean, bro, they disrespectful out here. They real disrespect that guy. What about looking for a fight?
He makes stars out of me today.
All that stuff I do.
All right, Blair, you remember the question? Chiesa needs to grapple against Holland.
100%.
You said engage quickly?
Quickly, yes.
Yes, because the striking is bad.
What's that thing right there?
That's one of my best friends, actually. So that's one of my best friends.
I don't know, man.
I'm seriously.
Is it?
I grab his leg and he always goes, oh. Oh. Like he's the 15 takedowns. Oh. Oh. I'm like, that's my boy right there.
Next one, last one. Better legacy, Tony Ferguson or Derek Lewis?
Better who? Better
Dad's body like that.
Tony Ferguson.
Yeah. That's right. Best NFL preseason play-by-play guy. They don't give my boy no real game. And he will call a preseason game. They like, hey, Dan, man, we need you to call week 1, 2, 3, and 4 the preseason game. By week 3, we got all the replacement players.
We're good.
Man, the only person with a real job is you here. Everybody else, like, we're going to give you a replacement
Legacy conversation. Tony Ferguson, Derek Lewis, blah. Who's up? Which one's going to have a better legacy?
A better legacy? I think Tony Ferguson for sure. Like the streak that he was on. The only thing that I hate is that you're ending it on a big losing streak, right? So I'm hoping he gets a win here and he's done.
Did I skip you?
No, I said Tony Ferguson.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Tony Ferguson, interim champ, 12 fights in a row. But him losing on the way out, that's kind of what everybody does.
Yeah, you get a pass for that, right?
Hey, man, you don't won 10 in a row, but just know by the end of your career, you're going to be losing by 3-4. We're going to be like, man, Bilal need to walk away.
I'm retiring.
I'm just playing Bilal. I know that.
Oh, no. Why do we see RJ walking up here with...
Oh, I'm glad you guys asked.
Oh, my goodness.
Your weapons, gentlemen, take a spoon.
All right. Do some of
You know, DC, I know you're very familiar with eating utensils.
We always do some of the dumbest shit on this show. Huh?
Yeah.
Eating cinnamon.
Yeah, this is...
Dean likes cinnamon.
I don't know what...
Hope you guys like cinnamon.
This is the dry challenge. We're trying to find...
Is it organic? I need organic.
Oh, it's premium organic.
All right, so did you guys know, this was interesting to me, Utah is the second driest state behind Nevada?
Yeah, I knew that.
Is it?
Yeah, you knew that it was drier than Arizona or
I
New
did
Mexico?
actually, yeah.
Because those are the third and fourth most driest states.
I did not know.
All right, so you probably heard of this, guys. It's the cinnamon challenge. You eat a tablespoon of cinnamon. You just see how long you can keep it in your mouth. This is more like a kind of like a teaspoon, right? RJ's going to count us down. Let's everybody get one. No. Can you put it in?
Oh, just put it in? No, you can't put it in.
You can't stick. Yeah. Oh, stop talking. All right.
All right, you guys are gonna need these. There's some prime.
Oh, yeah.
I know what you like. One for you.
Thanks, buddy. This is
Prime.
You're
gonna
these are
need
not
this.
good pours. RJ, you're gonna need to kind of man these pours here. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, look at DC. He's not even fully on there right now.
Yeah, load it up.
Don't put it on my clothes, man. Seriously, stop.
Well, he's got white shoes. I don't want to make a mess.
You can't get them on an anime.
Yeah, we can't do that.
All right, so we're doing the cinnamon challenge. No, we need a couple more here.
No, wait,
yeah, we
Zach,
gotta load
wait,
that
they
up.
don't even have it yet.
Oh, yeah, we gotta-
Dan and Dean don't have it yet.
Yeah, we're running around here. Nice and girthy there.
Dude, look at my spoon compared to yours.
Bro, it's just
He filled
literally
mine
had
up.
more.
Here, let me get that.
There you go.
All right, that's cool.
All right, so
Yes.
we put this in our mouths on the count, and whoever can keep it in their mouth the longest
Yeah,
wins.
DC, gravity seems to be keep knocking.
No, stop. No,
bro.
look at his.
CC,
Bro, you're
I've got
cheating.
plenty of, bro.
Come on.
Mine is full. Mine's full.
Yeah, there
There.
we go. All right, here we go. Put it in.
God damn it. Go inside. Down the hatch. Here we go. You can't blow any out. That's cheating. It helps if you take a deep breath. Ah! If you choke and die, you're out, right? That's a rule. All right, Bilal's out.
No.
Dan's out. He blew out too much. You blew out way too much. You're out. Head to head. I don't know what. D's not even phasing. I got some sweat on DC.
I gotta spit it out.
To the wall. We're gonna have to just finish the show like this.
I mean, whose idea is this?
I think it's for the belt, DC. I think it's for the belt. You better not screw this up.
By the way, DC.
They both cheated.
Had half. Had half.
Wow, tie! Well done, you two. Well done. We're gonna have to do this again with bigger spoons, honestly.
All right. Mackenzie is standing by.
Oh my God.
And
that was
Bro,
disgusting.
give it back to me.
okay. She has a much better situation going on. Mackenzie, we have cinnamon in our mouths. You got to go taste some ice cream. It looked unbelievable. This place, I had forgotten how famous they are for some of their ice creameries around here.
Yeah, Dan, well, of all of the
Want some more,
colleges and
DC?
universities across the United States, there are a handful only that have ice creameries on campus, and 2 of those happen to exist right here in Utah. And given the theme of the week, we figured no better time than now to dig into this rivalry and get just down to the bottom of who makes the baddest motherfucking ice cream in all of Utah. Well, to start off, we're up here in Logan on Utah State's campus at the Aggie Creamery, which is more than 100 years old, and it's responsible for putting Utah on the map when it comes to ice cream. We're joined by Taylor, who's got his PhD here at Utah State and is a food scientist and a faculty member. Taylor, tell us a little bit about why, first off, Utah State's
ice cream is just better than BYU?
It's better. It's always better. So a few things. We make our ice cream with a higher fat content than typical ice cream is produced. And then as you produce ice cream, you whip air into it so it isn't so hard. And the less air you whip into it, the more dense and creamy it is. So we actually put less air and more fat into our ice cream.
We know that you're famous for a specific flavor. Tell me a little bit about the Aggie Mint.
So Aggie Blue Mint is our most popular flavor. It accounts for about 20% of sales. It was actually a student flavor. They wanted mint ice cream, but they wanted it dyed blue for Aggie Blue. And it's become very, very popular on campus.
So I think we have to try it. So here it is, the famous Aggie Blue Mint. Taylor, tell me what all goes into this.
All right, so this is our regular white base ice cream, dyed a pretty looking blue with peppermint in it. And it has white chocolate flakes and Oreo cookies.
So I've seen that you guys have won Best in State for your ice cream. Is it this specific ice cream that wins?
Yeah, this is the one that we submit every year for the Best of State, and we've won the last 4 years in a row.
Wow.
I'm not sure that BYU's ever won it though, so.
Well, I think we'll have to go down to Provo and give BYU a shot at a taste test at the very least, but we will report back for sure on that. Well, now we're inside BYU's Creamery where the magic happens, and we have Jeff who's gonna walk us through a little bit what happens inside this facility. So first off, Jeff, of hundreds of schools across the country, there's only a handful that have a creamery on campus that works in conjunction with the university, is that right?
Yeah, Mackenzie, that's exactly right. So here at BYU, we actually take our milk right from the farm and we process it, add some sugar and powdered milk, other things to it, and we turn it into ice cream.
I think we have to try some of the flavors.
Absolutely.
Well, now we're here at the Creamery on 9th where the finished product is delivered. And Chris, I have to ask, what is it about BYU's ice cream that is just so much better than Utah State's?
Oh, I want to believe it's the love we put into it, the care we put into it. I would also say some of it has to do with the amount of flavor options we have. They have their signature flavors, we have our signature flavors.
Speaking of signature flavors, I think I just have to try the Grand Canyon because I've heard so much about it. Here we go. Oh my gosh.
It's pretty good.
Yep, I can see why this is the signature flavor.
She's going back for a second bite. That should tell you everything.
Gotta do it, yep. Well, I've tried both now, and I think I know which one is my favorite, but we will leave it up to you guys in the studio to decide for yourself. Back to you. I can promise much better than spoonfuls of cinnamon, guys. Take up the ice cream. We gotta try them. We have samples for you guys, and we have to get to the bottom of which is best.
Okay, so it's the Aggie Blue Mint, and the other one is?
Yeah, the Aggie Blue Mint. Let's go with the Aggie Blue Mint first.
Okay.
That one comes from Utah State's Creamery. It's a peppermint, gorgeous blue color. There's some white chocolate and cookies. Ice cream
the white
cookies,
chocolate.
Oreo cookies.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
That's
The
really
white
good.
chocolate is really nice. The peppermint's not too much,
Okay.
right?
I don't really like mint.
It's not strong though.
Did you take a bite? Dean, take a bite.
I'm just saying.
Just take a bite.
Bro,
Just take a bite.
Have more chocolate in it.
Okay. Well, we have a completely different genre on the other side. We have what's called the Graham Canyon. It's kind of like a s'moresy, caramely. That one, I mean, I'm just gonna give it away right now. That one was my favorite.
That's good. Wow.
It's like summer in a cup.
It tastes like they got a little salt in it or something.
Maybe a little salted caramel.
Like a little salt in there or something.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
We definitely have to get down to which one you guys like the best. So, Dan.
This pains me because both of my parents actually went to Utah State. I want to go with the Aggie Mint, but I just can't. The crunch and it's so good.
Yeah, I'm going with the second one too. I need a pint of this, please. I'll put you guys on my Instagram. Just let me get a free pint.
Okay, DC, what do we got? I think I know the answer.
I'm a real connoisseur of ice cream.
We know.
The mint chip. Oh, it's quality mint chip.
It's pretty good.
This is it's a blue mint chip. I mean, Dean, I know your old ass don't like mint. You take another bite of it, Dean. It's good.
I'm going with this one, the white one.
Okay,
Yeah,
he's got the Grand Canyon. Well, I guess this time around, BYU is the BMF of ice cream with the Grand Canyon.
They're both really good, though, right, guys?
Quality they're
ice
unbelievable.
cream.
And I mean, the fact that they have their own ice cream creameries on campus is pretty special. I just want to say this really quick. We have Boston coming up, and I'm sure, Mackenzie, you have something cooked up for us in Boston. If I have a lobster roll in Boston that was half as good as the one I had here at Freshy's lobster roll here in Salt Lake.
Do they pay you?
City.
I was about to say,
In Salt Lake City? Okay.
This dude right here is tripping.
In Boston? No,
Hey,
we will
Dan.
find you a better lobster roll, I promise.
Hey, Dan, y'all got a creamery at Tennessee? It's been a whole show you haven't said you went to Tennessee yet. Y'all got one at Tennessee?
We probably have a creamery.
Yeah, y'all got everything, right? It's just better at Tennessee.
Can you eat shellfish, actually, now that we're talking about Boston?
I'm allergic.
Ooh,
Mackenzie, it
are
really
lobster rolls off the table?
It means a lot to me that you know that. Thank you.
Of course,
You're the best,
Mackenzie,
Mackenzie.
can you just sneak some shellfish into something? And
Are you trying to get the belt that way?
yeah,
Oh.
I'll take it any way I get
All
it.
right.
Because he cheated with the cinnamon, by the way, so we're going to just try to take him out with lobster rolls.
Let me tell you something. This ice cream, boy. This is some good ice cream.
It is good ice cream.
Mackenzie Pavicic, you never disappoint. Thank you so much.
Happy to be here. Thanks,
And
guys.
I'm going to finish the ice cream as we go to Marcos Rogerio de Lima, who could eat ice cream. He doesn't really have to worry about this. Like, he's going to be fine.
Yeah, I hit my man up on Instagram. I said, man, what you want me to tell the people? He was like, tell them how hard I try. I said, man, say that drama for your mama. Nobody cares. So I'm going to talk about the wars I seen him in the gym with against Arlovsky.
Really?
Alessio Sakar. This dude stay in the pocket. And be going ham on
262,
dudes,
the
man.
official weight.
He's got one
for
of the best leg
Marcos
kicks I've
Rogerio
seen. And he don't
Peizao
have
de
to go to
Lima.
the calf. He could do the damage on instant to the thigh. I mean, Derek Lewis better protect his legs, man.
Come on, AG. Hey, AG said that next time we're in Jacksonville, he got a better one. He said he got a better ice cream parlor in Jacksonville. So
who said that?
AG said that.
Anthony Giordano, our director.
Yeah, he heavy too. So you know, a heavy dude tell you get some ice cream. Heavy dude tell you gonna take you to an ice cream parlor. You go with him.
I mean, he's trying to help you out, and you just call him fat.
He lost some weight, but he's still fat. Like I'm going with AG, man.
AG, I think you look great, man. I think you look great. Dustin
DC
Poirier
calls someone else fat.
Generally looks great when he's
AG
inside
not
the
fat.
octagon.
He's just rich.
Fat and rich. I mean, that's the best way to be.
Because you know how broke DC is.
Dustin Poirier, rich, not fat, but he is going for the BMF title. It is up for grabs again for the first time in a while. Let's take a look at DP.
Let's get up in this ice cream.
I'm dangerous, man. I'm a nasty dude, I promise you. Anybody who's a fan of me and a fan of the sport knows that when Dustin Poirier fights, violence is coming with it.
21 years old, the Diamond, Dustin Poirier. Oh, he's tagging him. That is a very promising new contender. Oh, right hand!
The guy is a fighter from the swamp of Louisiana. He is as tough and durable as they come.
I don't care how much I gotta bleed. How bad it hurts. I want it all.
That's a born fighter, ladies and gentlemen. Oh! Poirier continues to land. Dustin Poirier by knockout.
Oh, Poirier's all over him.
Dustin Poirier is a savage.
The winner, a new champion, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, big left and now a right.
Oh, that one hurt him bad.
Oh, knocked out for Poirier. Dustin Poirier has knocked out Conor McGregor.
Dustin the Diamond.
You want to go?
Oh, big shots by Dustin. Chandler's face is destroyed.
Oh, that looks under. There's the tap. Dustin Poirier.
One of the baddest men on the planet Earth.
This is what I do. I live for this.
Dustin Poirier, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh! I mean, that dude is just such an absolute monster, and I hope the BMF title lives for a long time.
I love how it doesn't have to be defended. It's just like when it deserves it.
That's what
when
I
the
like
matchup-
about. That's
the
what I
match-
like
when the-
about
when
it.
a matchup shows up, bam, there it is because it should be there.
All right, you guys want to talk top 5 BMFers active right now? Top 5 active BMFers. RJ, let's start with you.
Well, clearly I should go first if we're talking BMFers.
No doubt.
So it's weird because there's no guaranteed hard criteria. So I look at it as who's delivering violence, who can take the violence, and who's got kind of a swagger about him, right? So I went Alex Pereira, number 5. I mean, the dude's either learning to crush you with his fists or skewer you with a bow and arrow. Khamzat Chimaev, which is just a wall of violence, and then ran into Gilbert Burns and was still able to go back and forth. Marlon Cheeto Vera, I feel like, has the swagger and always looking for a finish. He'll just stick around and then finish you late. And then the two guys in the main event for the BMF, Dustin Poirier 2, Justin Gaethje 1. If Justin Gaethje didn't exist, we'd be talking about Dustin Poirier the way we talk about Justin Gaethje. One of the most exciting fighters of all time, one of the most amazing fighters of all time, just pure violence all the time.
See, I omitted the last two that you had just because they're getting their due with the title here. So I went.
Man of the people.
Yeah, I went at number one, Juliana, or actually Max Holloway. He's my number one. Just because, I mean, it's Max. Even though he's the daddest man in the world, he's still a BMFer. Khamzat Chimaev. Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker shows up when he's not supposed to, and he still shows up in fights. Fights with a broken arm. Had to give him in there. And then Calvin Kattar, for whatever reason, Calvin Kattar just reminds me of Chuck Norris. So I said, you know what, man, you like Chuck Norris, let's go and put him in there. And then Juliana Pena, because, I mean, you know, she talked trash with the best of them. Had to give her due.
Calvin Kattar looks nothing like Chuck Norris.
I can't tell white people apart.
He is old. He's like an old brother. Just racist. Don't know how. All right, here I go. I got Max.
Walker, Texas Kattar.
At number 4, I got Adesanya. Adesanya is one of the BMF. Yeah. Adesanya fights all the time. Adesanya has a more active schedule than anybody, and he's knocking dudes out and talking. He on TV dropping N-bombs now. Adesanya's a bad dude. Adesanya's a bad dude, man. Hey, at number 3, I got Khamzat. I got Khamzat. At number 2, I got DP. And at number 1, I got JG. The two dudes fighting for the BMF championship. So that's the list. And yeah, Adesanya, you know.
You're going to love my list. You're going to love it. And I put number 1 up there just for you.
Luke Rockhold.
Nope.
Bro, don't do that to him again. He got killed last time.
Ooh. I mean, he's the GOAT.
Right. Hey, so, all right, so this is what I was talking about earlier. Dude, I love that. Let me tell you why. Remember the conversation we had in the locker room?
You're right.
We literally had this conversation because I fear that because we are putting two such high-level guys in this fight for a BMF championship, it changes the criteria. Because if we're really being serious, the BMF is this list right here. Jones, Islam, Volkanovski, and then Adesanya and
all the champs.
All the champions.
Yeah,
if we're really talking about the baddest motherfucker. But it changes the criteria because Masvidal and Diaz weren't. It was everything that accompanies there. So we're changing the criteria today
but it's
by putting these two championship-level fighters into a BMF title fight.
So you love the list.
So that's not wrong if we're changing the criteria for the BMF.
Well, and the criteria has changed drastically as well because now you're putting guys who've popped for PEDs on the list.
But yes, but still, I'm talking about championship. Before, dude, Masvidal fought for the belt. Diaz fought for the belt, right? Yeah. But they got beat up. Those guys have 30 losses combined. We got two dudes now fighting with 11 losses. Justin Gaethje's lost 4 times. We're putting legit championship-level fighters.
Currently 2 and 3 in the division. Right?
Yes, and if we're doing that now, that's a great list. Jones, all them dudes.
But that's a pound-for-pound list. It's not it's not a BMF list.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
You want to be invited back on the show?
Oh, I'm sorry, that was an amazing list.
He's like, no, not really.
I mean, this is a great conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see it. These look like 4 of the top 15 pound-for-pound guys.
These are legit guys, though. Like, Adesanya is willing to fight anybody. He's not looking at the big money fight. He's looking at the next best guy online.
He's still looking at the wrong camera. Go ahead,
the guy waving at you with the ice cream.
And then Max Holloway. Max Holloway, obviously. Hold up, we got one way in there right now.
Vinicius Salvador.
So I also wrote him on Instagram, and he played me because he wrote me back in Portuguese, and I was like, oh, man.
You don't have a translator?
I know, man, but still, it's still
on,
a lot
man.
of. So he trains with Amanda Hebos's family. So and and
he was probably telling you, hey, you got any weight cutting tips? And you didn't send back. He's in the sin bin.
But he did his camp in Vegas with Alex Davis and the old school Pride fighter Francisco Bueno. But he's a hero in his hometown of Varginha, Brazil, which is famous for UFO activity. So he might have some insight to tell us if Tony Ferguson is an alien.
So once he flew into America, that's when the Pentagon started going out with the leakers. Coincidence?
Ooh, he missed, guys.
And he didn't make weight.
128.5. So this was the featured early prelim. So he's not going to try and make the weight now. We'll find out if this fight against CJ Vergara is still on.
He looks sucked in. Look at those eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a tough cut.
Look good.
Tough cut for Vinicius Salvador. So we'll keep you posted on that one.
Can we go back to the best list on
Yeah, please. Go back to your top 15
Because he's not getting
list.
invited back. He might as well finish this list when he's here.
I know, yeah, right.
So I'm going Max Holloway, obviously, anywhere, any place. A guy that was willing to fight Khabib on a week notice. So I'm going Max. Volkanovski, another true champion, wanted to fight the next best guy. He went up and tried to challenge Islam Makhachev, so got to go with him. And then Dustin and Justin, both of those guys are on my list, no matter what. I don't know what Dean was doing over there, not putting him on a list. It's a BMF list, Dean.
They're already fighting for the title. Like, I wanted to give some shine to some other people. There are other BMFers out there that need some love. I want to give my love out.
I get it. No, and I like that. And it is a valid argument, right? Like, what qualifies you for the BMF title?
Well, that's
and to your point, like, it's changed now. You have two high-level guys. This could be a title. This could be a title elimination.
Well, it is
fight.
a title elimination.
Yeah, I mean, this
and
is.
It changes what the BMF championship should look like. Because here's the deal: now that you've done that, you can't go back in a year and go, you know what? BMF title, Tai Tuivasa gets some momentum and he's number 10 in the world, and then Derek Lewis is still hanging around. You go, we're going to run a rematch and call it for the BMF championship.
Right.
Because then how do you take it serious anymore when you just had Dustin and Justin fight for it? So we're kind of like, it's different, right, with the way that they're matching this one up.
But what was your criteria for saying a BMF? Because, you know, there's also a guy up here that took a fight on 3 weeks' notice during Ramadan, so, like, I consider myself one.
There we go. There we go.
That's the thing, right? But if we're talking about high level, it is. All you guys that are the best fighters in the world are the BMFs. The baddest man on the planet is the heavyweight champion. It's always been that. And the guy that wears the UFC title is the baddest fighter in the world.
Well, I think there is no argument that the two men we are seeing tomorrow night in the main event, Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje,
fit the bill.
I mean, to a T. I mean, they seek out violence. Their commitment to violence is so special. It's a level above almost every other fighter that we've seen in the UFC. What is it about them mentally and physically that makes them so different than most?
You know, in all my time spent in combat sports and MMA, fighters are drawn to it. Like, immediately when you see fighting and get involved, like, it's something that you know you want to do for the rest of your life. And not everybody has it. Some people do it because they wrestle before it's the next thing, or they just transition into it. But these guys, you can tell the moment they saw fighting that they was like, this is how I'm going to live my life. And they exuberate that more than anybody else right now, probably in MMA. The fact that it's just embedded in their DNA.
We did just find out that the Vinicius Salvador CJ Vergara fight is a go. Salvador missed weight, so he's going to forfeit 20% of his purse to CJ Vergara. So good news that we don't lose a fight there. We're just talking about the makeup of the Poirier and Gaethje type of fighter, the guys that seek out violence, that they just live in a different world.
Yeah, I think there's two type of fighters, right? Like, for me, I'm a strategist. I want to see what your weakness is and, you know, exploit that, take you to whatever you're weak at. A guy like Justin, I've talked to him, and he goes, I don't think about nothing in there. I just see red. And that's the way he fights. He goes in there, and you know he's going to be in your face no matter what. And Dustin, he loves that. Like, Dustin can have those moments where, all right, I'll take you down, or I'll submit you or something like that. But if you put Dustin into that spot where he has to be that dog, he'll bring that dog out. And Dustin loves being the dog. And I've never seen anybody like Dustin where in the middle of a fire, he'll still be calm and patient and cool. But Justin, man, both these guys, man, I'm just excited. I can't even wait for this fight.
Plus, there's like a certain level of pain that you have to have on the inside, right? You can't be comfortable. Like, there's got to be a certain level of pain that you have, some type of loss, like a broken heart or something. Or but like your girl dumped you and you was like, I got to get killed the world. But there's some level of pain that these guys have on the inside that just allows them to go out there and say, I'm willing to die in this moment right now. And that's what we see from these guys. Like, going into them 4th and 5th rounds, you're going to see their faces, and their eyes are going to tell it all. It's going to tell you, I am willing to die right now for this fight. And those guys have that.
And no one's going to back down, right?
No.
They both love that. They both had that same mentality, and they both understand what it's going to be.
Oh,
when you get those two type of guys in the, I mean, listen, that 2018 fight was fight of the year. I mean, I have no reason to believe we're not going to see a fight cut from similar cloth. It's going to be pretty awesome.
It's going to be an amazing fight between two great fighters.
We do have one fighter left to weigh in, and
now you start to worry.
Michelle Pereira, who is set to fight Stephen Thompson, has now under 11 minutes to weigh in.
Bilal.
Always a tough cut for him at welterweight.
Yeah, Bilal, and when I had my phone and I texted, I got an update on his weight. So we should worry.
Really?
It's scary.
What?
That's not ideal.
It's
All right.
scary.
Oh, no.
All right, so while we wait for Michelle Pereira to weigh in, let's BMF titles on the line. We started thinking about ideal BMF card. So hopefully you fill out a complete list, DC, with 5 fights and not 3 fights or 4 fights. But this is the card of cards, right? This is the ultimate BMF card. Dean, let's start with your.
This is the ultimate BMF card, and opening up the card. First fight of the night is Juliana Pena versus Aaron Blanchfield. Second fight of the night, Calvin Kattar versus Edson Barbosa. Third fight, Dan Hooker versus Rafael Fiziev. Co-main event, Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus du Plessis. And in the main event, Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria.
All right, we did just find out that Michelle Pereira is going to take it right down to 11 o'clock. So about 9 minutes, he'll probably step on the scale with about a minute or so to go. Blau, you're up.
My card, I'm glad that a lot of you guys had Khamzat on the list for BMF because I want to fight Khamzat. So Bully B against Khamzat. If I'm a matchmaker, I'm going to put me on any card.
Yeah.
Okay.
Izzy, Pereira 3. Obviously, I would want that fight. Both these guys are BMFs, and I can't wait for that trilogy fight. I don't consider the 2 kickboxing fights MMA, so this is still a trilogy to me. Max Holloway against Justin Gaethje. Who wouldn't want that fight? Max Holloway is already saying, I would like to fight the winner. So, I mean, that would be an amazing fight. John Jones against Tom Aspinall. John Jones, who I think is a BMF, against the next big thing in the division, I think, is Tom Aspinall. And then the main event, I think Dustin against Volk would be just a crazy fight. I want to see Volk come up a little bit more to lightweight, stay there, and fight these next top guys.
My turn?
You're up.
Okay. My BMF fight. So the first fight of the card needs to be, maybe not, the guys aren't as great anymore, but they're fun. So you match them up and it's fun. I'm going Matt Brown versus Tim Means. That would be a crazy fight to start the pay-per-view. It'd be fun. Then I'm doing Holloway versus Topuria. Then I'm going to put Bobby Green and Tony Ferguson up there to just get you ready for the co-main and the main event. Then I'm putting the main event, Poirier Gaethje too. I'm letting them fight on that BMF title fight. And then I'm doing Khamzat versus Izzy in the main event, because now Khamzat's up at 185, and if he beats Paulo Costa, he'll be fighting for the belt.
That's a good main event.
That's a good fight card right there.
That's a good main event.
That's a good fight card,
That's a good fight
That's pretty solid. Pretty solid. I mean, you used a fight from this fight card on your fight card.
Well,
so
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. How in the world do you make an ultimate BMF fight card and not include the 2 dudes fighting for the BMF title?
You could have given him 2 different opponents.
I mean, we need to bring McMaynard out here to move this thing along. All right, I'm up. This is my my BMF card. We're going to start things out with Brian Ortega and Ilia Topuria. Topuria is already called out. Brian Ortega. Ortega coming back from that shoulder injury. Then we have Khamzat and Colby. I mean, you got to like that. Alexa and Valentina 2, kind of the women's BMF title. Islam and Volk 2. And then John Jones and Sergey Pavlovich, the 2 baddest heavyweights on the planet, would be lining up in your main event.
It's a good fight card. Yeah,
your card is trash.
What?
Bro.
Tell him,
Colby, come on, bro.
You know, I knew he was
Bilal letting his feelings take the best of him right now.
Yeah. Hey, dude, I got you on another list. We're going to be good here. All right, we have a little matchmaker sweepstakes. We're doing this. You guys can do that as well. Take a look at this.
What's up, everybody? Dana White here. You think you got what it takes to put together a legendary UFC fight card? Well, here's your chance. Enter the UFC Matchmaker Sweepstakes presented by UFC Strike to become a matchmaker for the day and pitch me on the best fights to make. Plus, you and a friend will get 2 VIP tickets to attend our 30th anniversary event in New York City. Let's see what you got. Enter right now at UFC.com/matchmaker, and I will see you in the war room.
All right, you think you can build a card like a pro? Make your match at UFC.com/matchmaker for a chance to be a UFC matchmaker for a day. Pretty good. According to Bilal, I should not participate in this contest because my cards are trash. All right, have you seen You Better? This is where you play a coach, Bilal, and you tell somebody on this card, you better do this if you want to win. You're essentially coaching them up. You have about 20 seconds to do so. DC, we'll start with you. You better Dustin Poirier.
Dustin Poirier, you better check leg kicks. You cannot allow him to have so many free leg kicks early, because if you don't land the big counter shot late, I don't know if you stand up to the damage inflicted by Justin Gaethje in those beautiful leg kicks.
All right.
All right. He might be one of the most entertaining fighter in the UFC. He desires to entertain and out-entertain his opponent. Now, do you guys remember the beef he had with Anthony Pettis, where he called Anthony Pettis out to a fight, and Anthony was like, man, you're a fanboy. Then Anthony had the receipt of the email that Pereira sent him, saying that he was a role model and an inspiration. Let's hear this weight.
Let's see if he's going to make this weight, because I think it is a tough cut from Michel Pereira.
That scale's still bouncing up, man. That's not a good look. The biggest fight of his career, too.
I know.
174, the official weight for Michel
three over
Pereira.
still.
3 pounds over the welterweight.
That was that number that we said he needed to be.
Yeah, right.
He had to be under that
And
at
he
the start of that hour.
I wouldn't be surprised if Wonder Boy says, nah, I'm good.
3 pounds.
So he has an hour to try and cut
even
the
now
final 3 pounds. They're already speaking to Wonder Boy's management in the back right now.
Yeah, he's not going to try for the next hour to lose that 3 pounds. That's a lot, 3 pounds still.
Yeah.
So negotiation is going to have to take place here. Obviously, he would lose a certain percentage of his purse. Vinicius Salvador missed weight and had to forfeit 20% of his purse to CJ Vergara. So certainly Wonder Boy and his camp are going to have to make a decision here. 3 pounds is a lot of weight.
It's a lot of weight, and 20% is not enough.
30%, 40.
I think 40% should be the number,
40,
right? Like,
yeah.
if you miss a weight, you should get 40% off.
That's high, though.
Because you know he's
But
going to
you're
be
supposed to
huge
make weight.
tomorrow. Yeah, he's going to be huge tomorrow. And it's gonna
That's
be...
the one thing that happens in boxing. They have a rehydration clause. When you miss weight or you're heavy, they make you only go up and they check your weight the next day. Well, obviously, we don't do that.
Right.
But, like, there's rehydration. When Tank Davis fought against Ryan Garcia, he had to weigh in the next day to make sure he wasn't more than, like, 10 pounds heavier than he was the day before.
And I think they should do that plus 40%. I mean, it's not like you didn't have 3 months to know about this fight.
Yeah.
You had 3 months to make 171 pounds. And if
You gotta be
can't do it,
professional, yeah.
if you can't do it, you should be penalized.
You have 20 seconds to play You Better with Justin Gaethje.
Justin Gaethje, you better not let this dude get on his wheels, and I'll box you. Now, DC already talked about the leg kicks. The leg kicks are going to be there for you, but you're going to need more than that. You're going to have to be able to cut the cage off, because Dustin moves well when he's on the outside boxing. You better cut him off, use those leg kicks, and be able to bomb on him when you need to, but cut him off.
Jan Blachowicz. Bilal, you better, Jan.
Jan Blachowicz, you better set up the takedown. Don't go in there, rush. I know the game plan is to take him down. Obviously, that's your world, but set it up. You know Pereira's going to come with those knees up the middle, the uppercuts. He has crazy power, so you just got to be patient with it. Once you get him down, then you can go hard, but set up that takedown.
Alex Pereira?
Alex, you better be ready for the knee. You know he's going to shoot. Be ready for that knee up the middle. Show it to him early. Get him thinking about it. Don't let him change his level without seeing that knee. Show him that knee so he thinks twice about taking that shot.
DC, Wonder Boy.
Wonder Boy, frustrate him. You better stay on the outside. You got to confuse this guy and make him chase you. You cannot be in his face like you were against Kevin Holland. Make him move, create a lot of different angles for him to try to catch up to, and overwhelm him with information so that he struggles and set a high pace. Because with him missing weight like this, you know that gas tank is going to suffer.
Tony Ferguson, Dino.
Tony, you better make this ugly. If you allow this man to sit on the outside and pick you apart, that's going to be your mistake. You got to get in there. You got to make this ugly. You got to tire him out. You got to use your cardio to your advantage. Get in there, make this ugly, and do not let him sit pretty on the outside.
Michael Chiesa, Bilal.
Chiesa, we got to grab a hold of him. We can't play that game with him. We can't let him get in our head with the trash talk. We got to grab a hold of him, take him to the ground. You're going to be levels above them. We've seen what happens when grapplers go take him down. That's your world, Chiesa. Get back in there, get back in the win column, and get back into the rankings.
As for Chiesa's opponent, Kevin Holland, what say you, DC?
Kevin Holland, you better touch him up very early and stay in space. You cannot allow Michael Chiesa to make this a slow fight. This is where he thrives. He's the best at being in a clinch and wearing on you. Make this fight clean. If you make it clean, you can get the biggest win of your career.
All right, this just in. Michel Pereira not allowed to cut any more weight.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
According to the
like,
commission. So
it's a championship fight.
We're not going to know for a couple of hours whether or not that fight is going to happen. So obviously Wonder Boy and his crew is going to have to decide. They're going to negotiate. To your point,
yeah.
How much of Pereira's purse, and it, potentially there could be a health issue on Pereira's side too as to why he couldn't make the weight. So we were not going to know on this show. But we'll keep you posted on
UFC Live. UFC Live, too. I think that they do that on the weigh-ins. UFC Live will tell you.
Yeah, UFC Live.
Yeah,
which
UFC Live will tell you.
The ESPN family of networks, you'll be able to find out there.
I'll be on there, too.
Or the ESPN.
You going to be on there, too, D?
I'll be on there, too.
ESPN.
So check me out.
Yeah. My boy right there.
UFC Live. I'll be on UFC Live in about an hour.
May not know by then, but it could be out as we take a look at the card. All 25 fighters have weighed, or 24 fighters rather, have weighed in. 2 did not make weight. Vinicius Salvador and Michel Pereira. The Salvador CJ Vergara fight, which is the featured early prelim fight, will go on. Salvador had to forfeit 20% of his purse. We will find out about Thompson and Pereira in the coming hours to see if that fight will indeed happen, which is right before the co-main event.
She got another one for you.
There's a lot of rumbling going on here with DC, a lot of paper rolls. This main card, though, is as good as a main card as you will see this year in the UFC. And there's not even a title. I mean, the BMF title's on the line. There's not a title. But it doesn't matter because this card is so deep. It's so good. There's so much name brand power on here. There's so much action from start to finish. And obviously, everybody's looking forward to seeing what Alex Pereira is going to do for the first time as light heavyweight. And then the BMF title is on the line in the main event with 2 of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet. You guys want to play a little trivia? Guess the flag. Here we go.
Oh, man.
Yes. I love this one.
Oh, man, I'm terrible with flags.
Do you know how many countries are represented on the UFC roster?
73
countries. 73 countries.
All right, let's do this.
All right, let's start this game. Why don't we start with reveal the flag? Let's give me a flag.
Oh, I know this.
All right. Look at this flag. Write down what country you think this is.
Oh, I know this.
You got 10 seconds.
Hey, don't. You better not follow mine. I see you trying to cheat.
All right, let's flip them. Dean's got it. South Africa.
I know my
Enriquez Duplessis, Cameron Simon, among them from South Africa.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go to our next flag here. Oh yeah, I think I know this one. All right, you guys have 10 seconds. Let's turn them in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Flip them.
Oh, no, that's not right. But
Cuba, no. Poland, no. It's the Czech Republic.
Oh my gosh.
Home of Yuri and David Dvorak. Yuri Prochazka will be very disappointed in you guys. All right, next flag. Ooh, this is a tough one. I don't know this one. Oh, I think I do. I think I know this. All right.
Dean,
I got this one.
Peru, no. Colombia, no. Ecuador, yes. But
oh my God.
Cheeto Ferro would be proud.
I got you, Cheeto. I got you, my boy, Cheeto.
I knew it was one of them down there. All right, show me another one.
This is good. All right, let's move on. Moving on from Ecuador. This is the one I thought. Yep, I know this one. Oh, I don't know this one either. Gosh, thank God I'm not playing this game.
This is crazy. I'm just guessing.
All right, write it down and flip him in 3, 2, 1. Haiti, Slovenia, Spain.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, DC.
Yeah, let's go.
Ilia Topuria. And Joel Alvarez.
Topuria. Let's
All
go.
right, one is across the board, evenly matched in the flag game. All right, let's guess our next flag. We are leaving Spain, and we are going to... All right, I think I know this.
Hey.
This is one of the ones.
This is the one I got. I got it. This is the one. Yeah, I got it.
Flip him. No.
This isn't Colombia?
Armenia. Oh. Saruki and Armin Perchoshin. Edmund
Sarukia. God dang, dog.
Come on.
I'm surprised, D.
Use
This
that
is really
engineering
tough.
degree.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
All right, come on, guys. Let's go.
This marker's
All right.
trash.
This is flip them over. Mexico. Moreno, Grasso, Rodriguez. Viva Mexico. All right.
This game's close.
It's
Yeah,
very
we
competitive.
need a score update as we go to our next card.
We're all
We are
at
leaving
twos.
Mexico, and we are going to twos across the board. This is super tight. You guys, this is a gimme. Come on. Oh my gosh. Come on. Yes. Oh my God.
Hey, don't they look alike?
Australia.
They really do.
Robert Whitaker, Jimmy Crute.
Oh my
Jack
goodness,
Della
Dean's beat us.
Maddalena. Good job, Dean.
Yeah.
All right, we only have one more, right?
No, we got more than that. Come on, go. Hey, Dean's looking at the paper.
All right, here we go.
Dean cheating, bro.
This is a happy flag. All right, 5, 4,
Wait.
2, 1, turn it.
I know that.
Kazakhstan, Argentina,
Czech Republic.
Czech Republic.
What is it? Argentina! Let's go! We got a tiebreaker.
Ponzinibbio.
Let's not take a tiebreaker. I just keep the belt. It's a draw. It's a draw.
Dean versus DC for the win. Next flag. Let's see what happens here. Oh, here we go.
Wait.
4.
No, I know this. Hold on.
3, 2, 1, turn them.
I couldn't even get to it.
England, Ice.
Dang it!
You know, I was out there in Northern Lights. You know what I'm saying? I'm out there doing my thing. Yeah, it's the chair. It's the chair. It's the. Give it.
I'll take the belt. Go get the belt.
The
Dino.
nerd stuff, the Laura chair always wins.
The belt, hand it
There you
up,
go,
pass the belt.
champ.
Yeah.
Oh my
Come on,
God.
man, you know what I'm saying? It's
It
all
was
love,
good. It was
bro.
good fight. It
It's
was
all-
good fighting with you.
Yeah, it was all
Yeah,
love,
I
bro.
appreciate.
You know
I
what I'm
respect
saying?
you.
I got the belt now. Yeah.
I respect you a lot, man.
Respect all around.
I respect you a lot, man. That's why I don't mind dropping it to you.
Yeah,
Dino,
know what I'm saying?
who spins the wheel?
Bro, Bilal.
Yeah, he's snapping at you right now.
No, Bilal. Go ahead, Bilal.
We're supposed to do a video later. Come on, Dean.
There we go. Big wheel spin. Wheel of doom, wheel of misfortune, wheel of death, wheel of destruction. Pick your name. Best impression
You
again.
skipped it last time. You got to do it this time.
You got to do it.
Pick somebody on the set.
You got to pick somebody on the set.
All right, I'm gonna pick DC.
Yeah, do it.
You guys got a burger or anything I can have in my hand real quick? We're gonna do it the best way,
Oh,
right?
we're doing that, right? We're
What?
doing that. I swear to God, I'll
Bro,
get-
how do you want me to do that?
The moment
impression?
you do a burger, I'll put bacon on it for you. I swear to God, I'll
You
put
could just
bacon in your. I'll slip bacon in your burger.
You just talk about how great you are.
I'm gonna do the impression of DC trying to play basketball.
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
Below.
That's you.
Below.
That's you playing basketball.
I scored 18 points on you.
Dean was a stat keeper. Did he score 18 points?
Guys,
Nah, it wasn't that
I
much.
encourage you to be careful playing basketball now. I mean, guys get hurt playing basketball. You know what I mean?
They try too hard.
You got a potential championship fight coming up. That's what I'm saying. I'm referencing Jamal Hill.
I retired from basketball. I'm done with basketball. I beat DC enough.
I actually retired a year, like during COVID too, but I miss it. I'm gonna have to go back. But that's scary.
I'll take jumpers though.
Okay, so you can do that.
Yeah.
Rent-free moment. This is a moment that lives in your head forever. Regarding one of the guys on this card, you could pick anybody on the card and pick a rent-free moment. Who do we want to start with? Let's start with Bilal, our guest.
Well, I'm going to go with the co-main event, Alex Pereira, the knockout, my favorite knockout. I was sitting there front row, and it was so beautiful just to knock out a guy like Sean Strickland, a guy that doesn't know how to shut his mouth. That was the quietest he's ever been. I've ever seen him.
And now they're training together, which is crazy. DC, what do you have?
When he beat Izzy. When Alex Pereira beat Izzy Adesanya. We saw Izzy winning the fight. For him to finish him in the way that he did, in the 5th round, losing, needing a knockout to become the champion in only his 4th UFC fight. I'll never forget that moment. Madison Square Garden, big arena, big city, big performance by Poatan to become the middleweight champion of the world.
Of all the things Justin Gaethje has done inside the octagon, the most chilling thing he's ever done was when he was on the weigh-in show and was asked about if he was mad that him versus Michael Chandler was only 3 rounds. Listen to this. But be honest. Did you want your fight after those 3 rounds? Did you say, I wish I had 2 more?
Yes, actually,
I love
for
it.
his sake, no. He was in bad shape, and we haven't seen anybody die, but he was on his way, man. And I did not want to see it.
Did anybody else just get really uncomfortable?
Bad. That was bad.
I'm sorry.
I'm glad we're on the same team.
Can we move on?
let's go to knockout of the year. This
just casually referencing that a man can perish.
Bro, he actually said that, and then he at one point blew his nose with the microphone open. He's a psycho. He just blew his nose.
He's a bad motherfucker.
I was like, Justin,
he's a bad
you gotta tell him to close your mic, man. He's crazy.
He's not a TV veteran.
So my rent-free moment, it has 2 guys on this card, Dustin Poirier and Bobby Green. That's not Dustin Poirier or Bobby. But with Dustin Poirier, there it is. I asked Dustin, I said, he was talking to Dustin the whole time Dustin was hitting him. He was saying, you hit like a bee, and he'd get hit and drop down. He goes, see, I told you hit like a bee. And then he hit him again, and he kept telling him that you hit like a bee, and Dustin, as he was getting knocked out.
Until he woke up and was like, damn, he might not hit like a bee.
I think guys are getting a little bit excited about my rent-free moment, which was Gaethje and Chandler at UFC 268. I mean, this was such a war, and this is the fight that Gaethje was talking about. Obviously, Chandler came out on the losing end. DC and I played golf with Gaethje in New Jersey, and we had a guy that took us out. It was a UFC fan, but hadn't watched a ton. I said, go watch this fight and tell me what you think about Justin Gaethje. He goes, easy man, let it after them.
I think that tells a lot about Chandler, too, because Chandler was inviting that.
Yeah.
He was getting hit like, come on.
As I said, all 3 of those guys are the most violent guys, and Poirier beat both of them. So what does it tell you about Poirier?
You know the most interesting thing to me about Poirier, and tell me if you guys have the same thing or have had the same thing, but the love-hate relationship that he has with mixed martial arts, how he goes to bed thinking about it, he wakes up thinking about it, but there are times when he hates it and there are times when he loves it. Is fight week a time when you hate it or love it or both?
It depends on how hard the weight cut is, but to me, it's like once I'm past the weigh-ins, then it's like now that's the prize. The prize is always making it to fight day because it's so easy to get hurt training. Because the only way to train for a fight is to fight in a practice room. You're fighting every single day, so to make it to fight day, that's the prize. That's what your goal of making it to healthy. Just be able to walk in the cage. That's when you're like, all right, we're here.
I think all fighters have that love-hate relationship because you love it when it's working for you, but you got to understand, and most fighters think that the game revolves around them because their fight revolves around them. But when it doesn't, when it's not working for you, they hate it. They're like, oh, I don't want to do the media. I'm not getting the fights that I want. I can't get a title shot. Those are the things that they hate because the whole game is bigger than them.
All right. We already had one dry food challenge. That was the cinnamon. This is part 2 of the dry food challenge. I'm hoping this one goes a little better. This is 6 saltine crackers We have to attempt to eat 6 saltines in 60 seconds. Whoever finishes first wins the belt, gets to spin the wheel.
Oh, do we get to drink or no?
No. No, you cannot. You cannot drink.
We gotta swallow them?
Yeah, you gotta swallow them. In 1 minute. Ready, set, go.
You gotta eat the entire cracker and then move on to the next one. It's not just shoving it in the mouth, it is a mouth and swallow. Because you know how you boys roll. It seems easy, but it's just enriched bleached flour and salt. You guys are already cinnamoned up.
It's impossible.
Ice cream would be good for now. Yeah. I think Helly's been practicing his cracker eating. Got one. Helly goes. Helly wins. He's got to swallow it. Open the mouth. Open it up. Open it up. Open the hat. Swallow.
Man, he had all
It's still
six,
alive
he had
game.
all 6 of them in the
It's still alive game.
He didn't swallow none
Counting
of it.
that?
That doesn't count.
Can we get a ruling?
I said I won left. That
That's
finished mine?
one. DC gave up like.
No, I was eating
ago.
it, but I just you can't eat them fast.
How many did Dean have left?
Nobody.
Nobody could do it. All right, you guys tied.
Helly went the closest, but no one can do it.
Me and Dean got one. Doesn't DC have to spin the wheel?
He had 3 left.
No wheels, bro. You're crazy. Get out of here. What are you talking about?
All right, guys. Obviously, the BMF title is between a couple of the baddest lightweights on the planet.
Of all time, too.
All time. We talk about the Mount Rushmore for all kinds of things. Let's talk lightweights here. UFC lightweights, Mount Rushmore, top 4 of all time. All time. Anybody can be in this list? Bilal, we're starting with you.
My list, I'm starting off with who I think is the GOAT. Khabib, Nurmagomedov, to be undefeated, to be the champion, to finish undefeated like the way he did. BJ Penn, obviously one of the best to ever do it. His run at lightweight was amazing. And then I'm going to go with Frankie Edgar. One of the best fighters, one of the toughest guys to ever fight. And then to do it at lightweight, undersized, and to beat the guys that he's beat, he was one of the best to ever do it. And then I'm going to go with Showtime, Anthony Pettis.
Oh, your teammate.
He was he was on the Wheaties box.
Shocking.
None of these guys were on the Wheaties box.
Very interesting that he would pick his teammate.
Bro, he's on the Wheaties box. He did stuff that nobody's ever seen in the UFC or in MMA.
You're so transparent.
Jumping off the cage, Showtime kick.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff's memorable, right?
One moment.
And he's fought all the best guys in the world. Go back to his record book of how many...
Oh, so you're mad now. You sure look mad. Calm down. Hey, you look mad, don't he, D? He's very threatening, too.
I can't wait for your list. Please let me see your list.
Let's see if DC likes your list better.
So I really wanted to put Frankie on my list, but I had no spot for him. So I went BJ Penn. Obviously, I think he's the greatest of all time. Then I went Khabib. I think he's second. And then I'm going to put Dustin Poirier.
It's a hell of a list right there.
And
Yes,
then
it is.
Charles Oliveira.
That boy, that guy.
Bad boys.
Did Anthony Pettis beat Charles Oliveira? I don't remember.
But that boy didn't know what he's doing, man.
Did he beat him or no?
Hey, that boy
It
didn't
was
know
at
what he's doing.
145, so.
Yeah,
that wasn't a lightweight.
That was at 145.
DC.
Mine? All right. Me and Dean pretty in line. I got BJ Penn. I got Khabib Nurmagomedov, Frankie Edgar, and Charles Oliveira. That's the one place that we vary. Is Frankie Edgar and Dustin Poirier, because Frankie won the belt, held the belt, defended those great fights with Gray Maynard. And Charles Oliveira, I mean, he had won 12 fights in a row in the lightweight division, the champion, defended the belt, all-time submissions leader in the UFC.
Can't dispute that.
Yeah, this is great. I mean,
that is a superior
he left
list.
Oliveira off.
That's
to put his teammate on.
I did. I was going to put him on there, but then I realized that Anthony Pettis has a win over him.
DC, you had probably the best list I've ever seen. It was so good, in fact, that it's exactly the same as mine. Let me give you a little context, though, about this list. Khabib, 18-0 at 155, including the 2 times he missed weight. Got to count that. He had the fewest big wins, but he fought 38 total rounds. Of those 38 rounds, do you guys want to guess how many he lost?
1.
2. He lost 2 rounds in 38 rounds of fighting. Frankie Edgar, 15-3-1 at 155. Wins over BJ, Maynard, Shirk, Hermes Franca, and future Hall of Famer Jim Miller. And his 2 losses to Benson Henderson were pretty suspect. Wasn't all
Yeah,
that
they were
good.
very suspect.
Yeah, very suspect. BJ Penn, 11-5-1, but like what made him special wasn't like the wins and losses. It was what he did and how he did it. The record doesn't really tell the story. All his prime losses were like majority decision, pulver, a robbery against Frankie Edgar. That first one in Abu Dhabi, flat out robbery. Edgar did beat him clean the second time around. Wins over Kyle Uno, Matt Serra, Takanori Gomi, Jens Perver, Sean Shirk, Kenny Florian, and his most impressive performance ever, he was able to beat Dean Thomas. And then Charles Oliveira, 13-2 after he moved up to 155 permanently in 2017, finishes over Dariush, Gaethje, Poirier, Chandler, Kevin Lee, and future Hall of Famer Jim Miller.
Well, the fact that you called somebody Jens Perver is
Jens Perver.
Get your ass out of here, bro. You're done. This is his last segment on.
Is he done reading everybody's Wikipedia page? I mean, that segment took
he's
5
an idiot.
minutes.
Yeah, he's done. It's the last time we bring him on. Jens Perver.
I mean, he's acting like this is his own radio
Don't come
show.
back,
It's
man.
unbelievable.
Don't come back. No, don't. You have nothing
say
more to say.
pulver after 4 Modelos.
You have nothing more to say.
Dustin Poirier, who was on somebody's Mount Rushmore. I can't remember. He was on your Mount Rushmore. Sat down with John Anik recently in South Florida talking about the BMF title that's on the line tomorrow night, among other things.
It's amazing to watch a person grow right in front of our eyes, and that's what we've done with Dustin Poirier.
He really does want to be nothing but the best. He wants things paid in full, as he says himself all the time. That's what Dustin Poirier is all about.
All right, we are here at the famed American Top Team headquarters, Coconut Creek, Florida, and we are joined by the former UFC interim lightweight champion, future UFC Hall of Famer, Dustin the Diamond Poirier. It's good to see you, champ. How you doing?
Good, man. Good to be here.
So a lot to get into with you today. We're getting closer to this main event against Justin Gaethje. You've been essentially involved in every type of big fight possible, right? International Fight Week headliner, UFC main events several times over, interim title fight, undisputed title fight, and now a BMF title fight to headline a pay-per-view and check off another box, I guess, in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like when I speak to these other fighters who are just getting to the UFC and younger guys, and we start talking back timelines and things, it's like I don't even realize some of the stuff that's happened and how long I've been doing it. But here we are, man, still cracking.
Oh, big uppercut there for Poirier. Oh, Coruscant is in a world of pain here. This one might be done. Dustin Poirier, another finish.
So it's rare that the UFC has a headlining fight and there isn't an undisputed championship on the line. Why is this a main event? Why is this a 5-round pay-per-view headliner and not a 3-round co-main event per se?
I think there are certain times where like the perfect storm builds and collides, and this is one of those times, you know. I don't think anybody can just step up and fight for the BMF title. It's guys who have earned their keep and guys who fans know are gonna leave it all out there, and like I said, it's a perfect storm. We're gonna go out there and 25 minutes, we're gonna bust each other bad.
So 4-0 in rematches, if my research is accurate. You got another one here against Justin Gaethje. There are a lot of narratives that came out of that first fight. What do you remember about that first fight with Justin?
Feeling like I found a good rhythm. Obviously, we all know I got kicked too many times. I didn't check enough kicks, got my inside leg torn up, but I felt good. I felt in a good rhythm. I felt like I was in charge.
Gaethje hurt.
Gaethje's hurt bad.
Gaethje nearly out on his feet. Poirier continues to land.
Oh!
Dustin Poirier by knockout.
What's the difference in the Dustin Poirier that Gaethje's going to see on July 29th compared to the guy he fought 5 years ago?
Oh, man, that's kind of a deep question because we're both at a different spot. We both had shots at the Undisputed World title since then.
Yeah.
You know, multiple.
Yeah.
You don't get a whole lot of those. So to be in a position to climb back up and potentially get another shot at the gold, you know, whoever falls here is going to fall hard. And whoever wins here is going to win big. And big things are going to happen after that. And I know that's on the line.
And we're excited to watch it all play out, of course, in front of a pay-per-view audience.
He's got to go back to the couch. Big left and now right. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me right now?
So UFC 257, Dustin Poirier has knocked out Conor McGregor. A lot of people feel like with that knockout, you effectively changed your life.
It just kept the ball rolling, and all the years bleeding and suffering and hurting for a little bit of money, you know, wasn't done in vain. It continues to pay off and continues to show the world my skill set, and I'm better than last time out. I learned from losses, and it's just part of the journey, you know. It was a great night, though. It was a great night.
If you tell me you haven't thought about life after fighting, I would submit to you that you're probably lying to me. So have you guys talked about life after fighting?
Of course, I'm not an idiot. This thing's gonna stop one day. You know, I don't want the sport to retire me. I want to walk away from the sport. And I'm in a different position than maybe a lot of other fighters are. I put myself in this position, making smart moves, fighting the right fights, doing things my way. But the sport has turned into that kind of that fashion show of who says what, who's wearing what YouTube video they put out. I feel like that's newer age fighter stuff. I wasn't doing that back then. That's not why I ever picked up a pair of gloves. It was to scrap and hopefully one day feed my family doing it. And I've done that.
That has got to feel good.
And that's why Dustin Poirier has been around the top of the division for so long. His fighter spirit and his ability to just stay in fights.
The Real Article, as John Candy said in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. He's the Real Article. What you see is what you get, and you can see him live on pay-per-view, UFC 291, from what we expect to be a sold-out arena in Salt Lake City, Utah. DP, appreciate the time, man. Finish strong. We'll see you live on pay-per-view.
Let's go.
All right, we are in the hallway of the Delta Center. Before we wrap things up, we're playing a little Cam Jam. This is a summer staple. Beach towns, you see this all the time. Backyard barbecues, 2 teams of 2. Okay, so the deal is, Bilal is going to be teaming with Dean. He's going to throw it. If it's deflected inside the can, that is 3 points. If you hit the can on your own, that's 2 points. If it's deflected, your teammate deflects it into the can, that's 1. And they can only use one hand.
I'm putting it in here.
If, by the way, this goes down here, goes down here, goes down here, and it goes in, which is almost impossible.
I'm doing that.
Game's over. We're the winner.
I'm doing that.
You're going to try that.
I'm going there. That's what I want.
So it's the 1st to 15. Dino picked the teams.
Dean.
All right. Bilal,
Yeah, you guys are going
since
first.
you're the guest. Oh, we're going first.
I want y'all to go first.
Kelly. Oh. I almost forgot.
Give him the yellow. Give him that yellow.
You can hold on to this, Bilal, because we have some special discs, as in disco.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, let's go, Cat.
Are those regulation?
These are regulation.
Let's go, Cat.
Discs.
Let's go, Cat.
Now wait a minute.
My good friend,
All right, sir.
my good friend Ben Askren.
I'm about to say, what is going on here?
Disc golf guy.
All right,
Yes,
what
he
we
is.
want to.
These are the
You
ringers.
guys are going first.
All right, here we go. We're going first.
Second.
Cat, put it high now, baby. Put it high.
Wait, he don't got a drink in his hand.
Cat,
On order every time.
That's disqualification.
Cat,
Is that minus 3 points?
I'm trying to give him a chance. Come on, guys.
Dean shot.
Cat, you got to be a little better than that,
DC's
man.
back. My bad. That was bad.
Don't cross the line.
Come on,
1 point.
Cat.
These guys are.
1 point.
1 point.
Let's go, Dean.
All right, you guys can cancel it out here, but you got to see if you can get one. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Oh! So that's 2-0.
2-0.
All right,
Easy work,
2-0.
Dean.
Behind the line. 0.
Oh, my God.
5-0.
What is happening?
Let's go. Yeah. Let's go.
Fire.
What's up, DC? You good?
He's spinning.
Come on, man. It was right there.
I didn't even touch it.
It was right there, bro.
Yeah, they hit. 1.
It was right there.
1 point.
It was right
So
there.
what did they have? They had 5?
5-0.
It was right there,
It's currently
Cat. It was right there.
5-1.
I got you coming, baby. I got you. I'll make up. It's redemption.
So it was 5-1
I told you I was not getting inside.
Bounce does not count.
It hit one. It hit one.
Bounce does not count. 5-1.
So what's the score right now?
5-1.
5-1.
This is going to be easy work. Let's go, Dean.
0.
Nothing.
No
It
hit.
didn't touch.
No hit. 0.
All right, come on, Dean.
0.
He did.
So 5-1.
Dean, you got to stay behind the line,
Which
bro.
line? Which line?
Okay.
You can't pass the bucket.
Oh,
Can't
I
pass
thought
the
it was
bucket.
this line. My bad. I thought
Come
we
on,
talking
Cat.
How convenient.
Cat, put it close.
How
Put it close.
convenient.
I thought it was that line.
Hey,
One,
he's using
use
2
2
hands.
hands.
He's
2
using
hands.
2 hands.
Wouldn't have counted nothing in it.
Sorry, Cat. Sorry,
Get
Cat.
three.
Managed to
Can we
score
get
twice.
disqualification?
Look at that golden arch. That's a point. That's a
All
point.
right, 1 point. All right, let's go, Dean.
If they get
Think
points,
you
we're
can rack
screwed.
them up? I think that first round was a lie. I got
1 point. 1 point. So it's 0-0. Whatever team gets is the point for this round.
This is a big one.
Oh! 8-1.
Woo! DC.
8-1.
Let's go.
Team run. extra slam.
Let's go!
Hey, DC, you shoot.
There we go. 4.
All right, we got 4.
4 points in that round.
See what they can do. I don't know. Dean's focused now, but I'm starting.
Hey, watch his hand, man.
I know, he kind of
second
catches
grab.
it.
He's really grabbing.
I'm not grabbing.
You're like, it's like you're at senior prom. You're getting really grabby.
It's my arthritis, all right? I got arthritis.
Come on, Dean, we need 3 right here.
I believe it.
We need 3.
You need 3 to cancel it.
Silence, Dean.
Oh, gosh. That's.
That was open palm. 8
That
to
looked
1.
like a grab.
8 to 1. That round canceled. Behind.
Wait,
Let's look at this again.
That was clear.
that was a grab.
There we go. Next
The
one.
judges, baby.
Let's go. Yes, let's go.
That's 3. Oh, look how fast that was. Wow.
Jeez.
3 points in that round
Get
for Team
frustrated because they
Modelo.
let Bilal cheat, man.
Team Modelo.
Can I get some space?
He's pretty intimidating. No, Bilal.
Get out of here.
That hit. 1 point.
Okay. Just the tip.
Come on, Dean. Let's get scores right here.
We need to make up some ground. No more of this bullshit.
Miss Dean.
No.
2 points.
Dean went for the win. Dean went for the win.
0-0 again. 8-1.
No, they got 2 there?
Because it was untouched. It was
that was
untouched.
0-0. 8-1.
That's 2 points. We went over the rules.
Oh.
1
Good
point.
job. That was a bad throw. We got
That was
one.
almost it.
Hey, you guys are going to need a Hail Mary, DC. You need a Hail Mary.
You
Go
need
to the hole.
You need a floater, DC. You gotta float it. There you go. There it is.
Great throw.
4 points.
Great throw.
4-0 in this round.
We've been here before.
I thought that was going in without. Hey, I thought that might have went in without you.
Keep answering.
Let it float.
Yes! Come on!
Good job. 3-0.
Come on,
You need
Dean.
a bucket to cancel out.
Come on, Dean.
See, he's distracted me.
Interference is a 3-point penalty.
Yeah, interference.
Let's go, Dean. Oh, that's.
Oh,
He caught that one.
8-4 for Team Modelo.
We're not letting him back in. We gotta
Team
keep the foot
Prime
on the
8,
net.
Team Modelo 4. Oh, he's too strong.
That was perfect.
You're too strong.
That was actually perfect,
Give me a
Helen.
perfect one. Let's go, baby.
1 point. 1 point.
Cat, that was a perfect throw. My bad,
2
Cat.
points.
Cat, I like the hook. So I'm playing.
Come on,
play
Dan.
my slice a little
You gotta
bit,
get some score
Cat.
right here.
Nothing.
It did not hit. Smart by Dean to let it go.
Zippy.
Come on, Dean. Come on, baby. Let's get this
Try to
3.
get it in the bottom, Dean.
Let's get this 3.
Try to get in that bottom one, Dean.
Oh, God.
0.
What is that?
8-6. Let's go.
8-6.
Come on.
8-6. Team Prime 8. Team
It's in the
Modelo
red.
6. Yes, here we go. That's a 3-fer.
Oh, Helly! Helly!
It actually hit it by itself without me touching it.
Wake up.
First.
Wake up. Wake up.
Okay.
Helly!
I know. I'm
4
sorry.
points. 4 points.
It was perfect.
Look at that throw.
Nice.
3 points.
Come on, Dean. Let's
You
get this
blew
score.
it, Helly.
So
You
1
blew it.
point lead for Modelo in this round.
Come on, Dean. Come on.
8-6 overall.
No way.
Next. 1.00, still 8-6
again.
Helly,
Team
you
Modelo.
again.
My
That
bad,
was
my bad.
perfect. We had
8-6.
2 great throws.
Yes, let's go.
Easy
That was a
money.
good throw.
Wow, perfect.
Yes.
Round 6 points. And producer Candido thought this game would go too fast. You want to go too far.
All right, here we go. Nothing. Embarrassing blow.
No,
Come on, Dean.
There's no bleeding here, Dean.
Come on, Dean.
Oh, Dean's nervous. Look how nervous he is.
Woo! 3 points.
We're up 9-8. We're up 9-8.
9-8. Team Modelo takes the lead.
Wait. Bilal just said, wait.
No, I did it.
As he scored, as he scored, Bilal stopped him.
Yeah!
Hey,
Yes!
that's a bull.
Well, you told Dan, wait up.
I can say whatever I want.
You can't
It's like my
okay,
backswing.
we'll take the interference.
You can't talk about my backswing.
Wow, they found their stroke.
DC.
They have
We got to
15.
score here.
Yeah.
If you guys score 0, they win.
I'm going to score.
Are you?
I'm gonna.
Okay.
I don't know. I've seen Dean. Doesn't have the best hands.
Dean got Laura Chet, but you also got Laura athleticism.
Oh, there it is.
That was nice.
Let's go, Dean.
Okay.
Come on, we got to scratch this up.
They could cancel us out. No.
That
got one.
nicked. That nicked.
2-point round.
1 point. 2 points.
Give me something to work with, Dean.
I know, man. It keeps
Hey, Hellcat, we got to get 4 exactly. All right?
No, that's 4. That's 4.
Hit the ground and
Yeah, so that's 2 points. Because I didn't touch it.
2 points. 2 points.
Don't touch it. I just throw it straight at you. Just
2 points.
relax. Just relax. Don't touch it, Hellcat.
If you get the 2-pointer,
Don't touch it, Cat.
Yeah, go.
So if he gets a
Zip it in
3-pointer,
there.
it goes back to 11.
Yes, don't touch
Zip
it, Cat.
it in there.
Oh!
Missed. 2 points.
Come on.
Cat, I went for it, Cat.
Hey,
Nope, you're
come
fine.
back. Let's go. Easy. It's going to go
we
right
go.
over. Get ready to dunk.
Love Dean's stance. 1 point.
Yep, yep. We only got 1 more.
Come on, Dean.
Okay.
1 up, Team Adele this round. That's going in. 2 points, Team Prime. 2 points, Team Prime. 11 to 10.
We have 11.
Yep.
Correct. 11 to 10, Team
Cat.
Adele.
All right, go, go.
1 point.
That's 12. Hey, that's 12. So if you get a 3 here, we win.
Oh, really?
If you get a 3 here, we win. You right? Ready?
Oh.
Whoa! We did it again!
No.
We always win.
Get a rebuttal.
No.
They can rebuttal. If
We
they
have
get
to
5
score.
points exactly, it goes to OT.
We win every time.
We need 3 to 2, Dean.
And
So
it
they
has to
need
be
a 3 and a 2.
exactly
They
5
need one to
points.
go in, or they
One
need one
through
to touch
one
it?
through in.
Of course. 5 points exactly.
So if I miss it, could Dean attempt to go through the middle?
Yeah, there's only option.
Okay.
There's only if you
You
miss.
want to try to just you want to put it in, and you want to let Dean just try to hit it by himself.
Dean, I'm going for the 3.
Okay, gotta go
Yes.
for 3.
Stand
No,
over.
You want to hit it in.
Stop.
For the 3.
Below.
What?
You go for the 2. You got to steady your hand.
No,
and
I'm gonna
Dean.
go for the 3.
No, stop. You go for the 2. Just touch it. Then Dean throws it. You
Get out
touch
here.
yourself to bat it
Get out here.
in.
Let's go, Dean.
Dean, I'm telling him. Tell him, Dean.
Going for the 3.
Watch the
He
line.
in
Watch
front
the
of the
line.
line.
I didn't do nothing yet.
Watch your Habib
looks
shoes
so
on the
scared.
line.
It's
Game
over.
over. No. He had
to
a
get in
chance
the
to make it in
flat.
the slot.
Hey, Dean, come on. Hey, it's on the
Dean.
wrist.
No pressure. Now.
Come on, Dean, please.
No pressure.
Hey, come on.
Go talk to him. Give him a little pep talk.
Give me a little
Going out of the mound.
Come on.
We did it
Back
again.
to back to back.
Now, can Bilal assist the slot?
Hey, guys, let's just get this over with.
You can assist Bilal.
Yeah, I mean, come on,
you
man.
can
You're my
assist
guy.
the slot.
Hey, come on,
I could.
Chase.
The slot you
Come on,
can't
Chase.
assist.
Okay.
Hey, I got my boy Chase. Hey,
The
Chase
slot
ready
you
to
can't
hey,
assist.
Chase ready to celebrate with us.
There we go.
Hey, he ready to
For the
celebrate with
game.
us.
I've been able to get my thing in harder holes than this. Trust me.
I believe it, Playboy.
Let's go!
Where's the bell?
Hey, let's drop it on my boy. Hey, this is Dan Helly's son right here. This is my boy Chase.
Turn
The
around.
champ.
16th birthday, baby.
Hey, 16th birthday and part of the winning team. Hey, man, look at y'all losers.
Come on over here, guys.
Look
Come
at
on
you
over here. Let's
losers.
get in here.
Hey, come over here, man.
Oh, man.
This guy's
Take a
going to be
bow,
fighting
man.
for a championship soon. Dean Thomas, UFC pioneer, UFC 291, Salt Lake City, the Delta Center. Who has it better than us? You do, because you're going to be watching everything that's going down on Saturday night. Going to be unbelievable. Thank you so much for watching the official UFC 291 weigh-in show. It's all going down here in Salt Lake City. Oh yeah. There's all the highlights of the show. I'm just walking and seeing the cinnamon taste test right now.
I got that new move when I make a good joke. Boom. Oh, he exploded.
Oh, God. I mean, DC just cheated on this whole thing.
Look at Dean. Dean a bad boy, man. Look
He's
at him.
unbelievable.
I'm a fancy eater of ice cream.
Man, it started
I
off so
know,
good,
man. I don't know how that happened.
That was the grab. That was the grab.
That's the MVP move right there.
Look at that. Look at that. Just put it right in front of Hellcat. There it is. Little rim protector. Hey, that's my boy right there. We look like Stephen Clay.
That's trash.
Hey, we look like Stephen Clay putting that together.
A rematch.
Thanks for watching, everybody.